Hello, welcome to the...
Sorry, it's all a mess.
No, it's okay. I also just kind of lost it. Hello, and welcome to another episode of playonultra podcast. This episode 202. 202. 202.
Ooh. If we keep this up, it's always going to be 200 plus the month.
Oh. Didn't realize that. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, now we have to keep that up. I'm just kidding.
So yeah, it's 2023. Fuck.
Ooh.
When is the world ending?
Yeah.
So how's everybody doing?
I'm so tired.
We all just feel like death. I feel
so weird
and look
too.
like death. Yeah.
Literally, I thought I had COVID the other day just because of how I was feeling. But it turns out, I took a COVID test and I was negative, and I didn't really feel that way again. But my body's super dramatic if I haven't had enough sleep.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I've warned people. Yeah, I get cold symptoms usually the next
Me
day
too.
if I don't get good sleep.
It's
so
horrible.
annoying.
Yeah.
And this was one of those, like, I genuinely just didn't sleep the entire night kind of things, which is whatever, but, like, genuinely didn't. And so the next day I felt so sick. It was, like, borderline flu symptoms.
The human body is the worst.
Oh, my gosh.
It's amazing, but also sucks. It's like...
I have to take daily naps to function, unfortunately, which a lot of people are like, oh, man, yeah, I wish I could take not wish I could take naps, but like, yeah, well, if I took naps, I'm just always so tired all the time. And I was like, you don't understand. I will fall asleep at my desk if I do not take naps.
Apparently some people really need that.
Yeah.
And then there are some
turned out I was one of them.
psychopaths that can function just off like 3 hours sleep. Like, okay, good for you, bitch.
Yeah, I know.
Like, stop rubbing it in.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then these people will then go on to some sort of like motivational stuff. Like, you all need to like wake up early. No, motherfucker, we need the sleep to function, unlike you. You're just built different. Like, you're literally built different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I knew a guy in college who, like, he there was like some syndrome he had. He's like, yeah, my body just kind of naturally runs on 6 hours of sleep. I really can't sleep more than that. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And he said, no, it's actually awful. I'm probably likely to die sooner than most people. And I went, oh,
I
that's
remember
terrible.
watching a video about like, I'm not sure if it's that, I don't think it's a specific syndrome, but they did talk about like, there are some people like, it's probably genetics that they do require just less sleep.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about dying early or not though.
I don't know. That's what he described. I'd never talked
in
out like
general, less sleep means like
That's
you're going
true.
to get like as tied to like Alzheimer's earlier and that kind of stuff. But I don't know if the sorts of people who need less sleep are also less likely to have that. I don't know.
Could not tell you. It's just something I forget the name of it, but it's just something he mentioned. Not me though. Nope. My body is hyper dramatic. I had bad sleep on Wednesday night, and basically my body relies on like 1 or 2 days a week where I get to nap without an alarm clock. It's usually like 2-hour nap, and I didn't get to do that yet, so I will tomorrow. Cause oof, those are the best.
Did any of y'all get COVID before?
Yeah,
I have not.
Oh, I have not either.
I'm the only one who.
I'm
the only one
in the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my house, yeah. Because we did have a COVID spread. Actually, did I tell you guys the story of how we avoided what I jokingly call the Easter massacre in my family?
No.
Okay. I didn't know if I made this. I don't know if I told you guys this story, so I do apologize if this is already in a podcast episode. So Easter last year was what? April, I think. I'm more familiar with
Australian Easter. I'm not sure if it's the same or not though.
Probably
because
not.
Of my work.
It is a.
Okay.
That's fair. That's pretty funny.
That's funny. Sorry, but that reminds me. What was the movie? There was a movie where Hugh Jackman voiced the Easter Bunny, and I wonder if that's because of Australian Easter.
Oh, that's funny. I have no
it's
idea.
It's the Jack Frost movie with
seasons or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead with your story. Yes.
It was so Easter. Like, I don't really go to church much anymore, but Easter is still a relatively important holiday with my mom, due to her faith and stuff like that. But either way, it's a Christian holiday. Either way, we as a family don't do tons of stuff with Easter, but that year, this went around April. there was definitely an unreported COVID surge that nobody knew about because we were not the only ones that got hit by this. Long story short, my parents and my wife's parents were supposed to come over Easter Sunday for just a meal. My brother was cooking. And that Sunday morning, my brother mentioned feeling, because he lives with us, feeling a little off. And we were like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah, I probably just slipped a little funny, but I'll wash my hands and stuff today. I'll be real careful. So we make the food, we cook, and everyone's having a good time. Monday morning, my brother tests positive for COVID. And now we're all like, shit. Because my parents got exposed, my wife's parents got exposed, and we're just freaking out. So we let everybody know, of course. My brother gets it. He gets through. A week later, actually several days later, my wife was showing symptoms, but she kept testing negative. And then finally, the next Monday, she finally tested positive. My wife had a pretty rough run of it.
Right? To show up.
Yeah. She had a rough run of it. She has a weakened lungs due to childhood whooping cough. And so luckily she didn't have to go to the hospital. We were as vaxxed as we possibly could. So that was a good thing because I think she probably would have if we didn't have the vaccine. So she was out for a week and a half, like two full weeks. Somehow through all of that, I never tested positive and I never had any noticeable symptoms. And so they thought, okay, Sarah, you must have been like a carrier or something. That doesn't make any sense because my wife and I did not really quarantine because by the time she was positive, it was like, well, what's the point? Because you obviously had it before. So I went to my doctor because this was during the time, this was last April, where they were talking about long COVID and complications and stuff, even if you didn't have symptoms. And so I was freaking out. And so I called my doctor, and she was like, yeah, we can do a blood test to see if you ever had COVID in your system. I was like, okay, let's just do this test so I can, I was like, it's not for the vaccine response. It's literally just to see if you had COVID. It's a blood test. So I went to the doctor. They took my blood 2 days later. You never had COVID. I somehow never got it.
So
we don't know why or how.
Who to look for if we need zombie antibodies.
Blood?
Apparently, it's so strange. That's why literally this past Thursday, because I was getting symptoms that in my head I went, this reminds me of the COVID vaccine symptoms. My head was hurting. I was nauseous. I was kind of chills. I did not sleep well the night before. I was like, the COVID vaccine was just like this. And so I was convinced I had COVID. And we took the test and it was like not even close. And the next day and like literally later that night I was fine.
I've had 4 shots. And only the first one really fucking killed me. Or was it the second one? Everything else was fine.
The second one probably if you had to do the 2 version. Yeah. Did you have like a 2 set shots the first time? Probably the second set.
Wait, what? Yeah, 2 shots.
Did you have the
first 2 was like a set.
2 shots for the first round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A duology.
Probably the set. Yeah, probably the second of that first 2 sets probably is what screwed you up because that's what screwed
because
up.
Because I had the Chinese one.
For me, that one was.
The Chinese one required 2 or something like that. So, yeah.
Oh no, ours does too. Ours did too. Except for one of them.
Oh yeah.
Because sorry.
One
of ours
all
was
of
not
them required 2, but the Chinese one was just the least effective out of all of them or something. But because we wanted to do as many vaccinations as possible, so we just kind of they didn't care. Everybody got whatever that we could.
Got it.
Which was the right move.
That was kind of.
I'm not saying it's the bad move.
Yeah,
it just sucks I got the least effective one. It's just, but as long as everybody is vaccinated with something, because at the time it was at the height of it.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened actually. My wife had of the 3 you could get in the US, my wife had gotten the lesser effective one, the one that's required the most booster since. I weirdly enough apparently got one of the more effective ones, but still, I was delayed in getting the booster because they were like, you don't need it yet. And I was like, please just give it to me.
I really want another booster. I feel like I don't mind taking this every year, honestly.
Oh yeah, I do the flu shot every year.
Exactly.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Yeah, the one that affected me the most, weirdly enough, was not the first 2, but the first booster. So I guess shot number 3. That one really got me. Luckily I've always just taken the day off whenever, or the day after off whenever I take the shots. I just don't want to deal. I'm a baby when I'm sick. I just don't want to deal with it. And I work.
exactly like
and
me.
I'm a therapist. I'm a therapist for a living. I don't want to be in a bad place, like, while I'm doing therapy. Like, if I was just in an office, I'd probably handle it. But, like, I have to talk to people and be on point. I don't want to. So, I'll just take the day off. But, yeah, I guess the third shot, or the first booster, that one, like, that night, I was not doing well. All the next day. But anyway, boosted, folks. Get your shots, please. Anyway, that has nothing to do with what I did recently.
What did you do recently?
Okay. So I didn't actually tell you guys this. This started back in November. There's my other podcast that I do, a little bit less now. We're not really consistent anymore. But we were in... Yes, the RNG&T. We were invited to join this other guy known as Boss Monster Kaiju. I forget the podcast itself, unfortunately. Once I know, I can send it. But anyway, he is doing a whole series where he's trying to find the top, like, 100 best games of all time. So basically, he invites other podcasters and other people, like, to play a game or two and then come on the show and talk about it. And then he has this whole big, like, rating thing, and you have to, like, give it points, like, put it on the scoreboard, basically. And he just does that. So when he talked to us, we had the very bright, no, not bright at all, idea to play not one, but two JRPGs, and old ones. So we decided to play Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. That was a bad idea. Chrono Trigger you can at least get through pretty quickly because it's meant to be replayed. Final Fantasy VI is a long game, as I found out the hard way. I actually didn't finish it because it just was a slog. Anyway, but I did play them both, which was interesting, and I never want to play an old JRPG ever again. I'm the worst, and I know it.
Did you use an emulator? At least you can, like, speed things up and all that.
No, it was Steam, the Steam version.
Don't they do have, like, speeding things up and all that, right?
They do. They have speed up versions. The real problem is just that, so Chrono Trigger wasn't so bad. I played Chrono Trigger a long time ago when I was a kid, and I don't think I finished it, but I did play parts of it. So I was very familiar with that game. And I played Chrono Cross growing up as well. So, like, the game and the story are very familiar to me. So that one wasn't too bad. But Final Fantasy VI, the main problem with Final Fantasy VI is you are expected to grind constantly. And the problem is if you want to, like, get useful characters, you have to, like, go out of your way to grind them as well, because they don't level up with the rest of the party when you don't use them. And so, and some of the, like, world battles can get really intense. Literally, I stopped playing because I was like, okay, let me get past this like, dungeon area. And the guide even warned me, like, so these monsters are really hard and they might one-shot you. And I was like, what? And it's just one of those things where, like, okay, do I want to spend my life basically, like, attacking, raise, heal, attacking, raise, heal, and, like, probably run out of ethers at some point? Not really. I'll pass on that. So, also, I made the mistake in both games at one point for forgetting to save and lost probably a good 20 minutes of progress at some point on each game. So that was not fun. Anyway, I'm going to go back to Dragon Age after this. This was like several months of my life trying to focus on playing these games.
This is why I really appreciate that Chained Echoes game, that new JRPG, because of all the quality of life stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, JRPGs they're not the most, like, future-proof type of games. Doesn't age very well.
And I just don't have the patience. No, I just don't have the patience for those kinds of games anymore. I really, really don't.
I had the patience when I was way younger. But now...
Oh, of course.
Back then you had less games.
Way more time.
That's true.
Yeah, your game had to fill your time.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is when games like Final Fantasy VI came out, like, that was a major thing because you could play that and be happy with it for months probably because it's a long game and that's all you really had at the time. So yeah, it's what you could focus on. Now, there's so many games out there, I get overwhelmed by the choice, and half the time I just don't buy it because I'm afraid I'm just going to drop it.
One of my favorite JRPGs is Lufia: The Legend Returns, and I never finished it. And I was like, I want to go back and play it, but also I don't.
Is that Game Boy?
Oh my gosh.
I played it on the Game Boy Color. I don't know if that's the original system for it or what.
We definitely had this conversation because I have a old friend of mine from college that was obsessed with the Lufia games. In fact, he's behind. I don't know how much you pay attention to anything Lufia related, but he has been making a fan-made Lufia 5 game for like the past, I think, almost like 7 years.
I assume there's a first one, but as far as I know, Lufia, The Legend Returns is the only one, which I know is wrong, but I don't know of the other ones.
No, well, he would tell you the second one is the only one worth playing, so...
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, apparently that's like the best one. We don't talk about Lufia 1. He would not stop talking about this game in college. We don't talk about Lufia 1.
It's a really deep game.
Yeah. And I played parts of it, but I never finished it as well because he wanted me to play it, and I never finished it, but I played parts of it. He hated Chrono Trigger because I guess it came out around the same time as Chrono Trigger, and he felt like people kept comparing the games. He's like, "No, Lufia's better," and it's one of the reasons why.
Isn't Lufia like a?
That's what you would say. It's one of the reasons
people do it.
More like a tactics kind of game. The battles, sort of like there's a grid, isn't there? No.
There's a grid, but you don't move within the grid. Basically, you like instead of having like your 4 people in a line, you eventually get
like
to
a
having
front
9
and back
people.
line kind
and
of thing.
So if the people in the front row, I mean, there's so many systems. It's like a long time to explain. But in like a single combat, if the front row goes down, that's a party wipe. But you get 1 like action per column. So you can do and if you're in the front row, like you do full damage with melee attacks. But if you're in the back row, you do less damage with melee attacks, but full damage with ranged or magic attacks. And there's all sorts of like lining up people in the same row and column. Like they all have like a color attribute. Like I have like 44 like red power, and I have like 43 yellow power. And so like everyone in the row like adds up these powers. It's way too deep of a system, more deep than it needs to be. But the dungeon crawling is kind of tactical. Because it's like this turn-based like movement system.
Can you like have so each column is like 2 characters, right? 3 characters. Can you have like you put certain characters and they like do some special combo type of thing?
Together? Not strictly speaking. Because certain moves need I need to have like 44 blue power and 23 green power, so that would mean like somebody in their row or column needs to be like a green person with the blue person. So that's a thing, but it's not like
I thought it was gonna be like
the dual attacks and triple.
So I've never played Suikoden 1 or 2, but Suikoden 3, if I remember correctly, it had like a 3-3 grid, like that's like 6 or 8. Then you can, if you put certain characters like together, like the front and back row, they do combos and stuff. So if you put like one of the main character with his pet griffin, he will mount it and gets like really strong attacks and all that. It's so cool. I love Suikoden 3. And Suikoden 3 was probably...
It's actually...
I don't know why, but I played... my first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 8, right? And it's my favorite because, honestly, I do think it's amazing, but it's probably also because it was my first one. And Final Fantasy 8 was the sequel that everybody hated because it came after 7. Suikoden 3 was the same thing. Everybody loved Suikoden 2, but Suikoden 3 was my first one, and I love it to death. And it's one of those ones where like, oh, it's not as good as Suikoden 2, but like, it was my first Suikoden, so it's just like...
That's okay. I think my brother wins that particular game, that particular thing, because Chrono Cross was my first game before Chrono Trigger. And he loves,
honestly,
and it's the game I know was Chrono Cross more than Chrono Trigger.
Like the proper gaming stuff that I actually played was on the PS1, and it was a little bit later.
Same. Like
during its like lifespan.
Yeah.
Actually, pretty close to the end was when I got the PS1. So that's when Final Fantasy 8 was newer. Chrono Cross was actually a new game on it. So it's just like my JRPG loves are all the hated sequels. It's just funny. I just thought it was funny.
I mean, it is what it is, right? So it's just funny how that goes on. But yeah, so I did actually play games, crazy enough. I am going back to 14 and Dragon Age Origins after this, and hopefully getting through Dragon Age Origins soon so that I can just whip 2 into shape and then finally play 3. And maybe, just maybe, I'll play all those games before their 4th one comes out, if it even comes out.
Just one more
Not very
stupid,
hopeful, to be
not
honest
fun
with you.
fact about JRPGs. Whenever I see in a dating profile
Yeah.
that somebody likes JRPGs, I hope I match with this person and we can talk about JRPGs.
Sure.
I don't play as much JRPGs as I used to, but there's still a special place for them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I always forget that like my true, I think, JRPG, and this is really sad because it barely counts. I think like the first true like JRPG that I played, beat, and like think about all the time.
That's
was
a
Gears
JRPG.
1.
That probably has the most convoluted
Yeah.
story of
And
all
to- and it's
JRPGs
just-
ever.
I know. And I never finished 3. We
same.
bought 3 and
Wait,
I
3 is
couldn't
the
finish
new
it. I
one,
was just
right?
like,
No,
this
no,
story
PS4.
is so...
Yeah, I played it.
Yeah,
I think I stopped
yeah.
at the Toy Story World, and I was like, yeah.
You know what? I think I stopped at the
Because-
same... Did I stop at the same part? No, I think I went a little
No,
farther
because it's
than
like
you. But
it's
yeah,
not just the story.
much.
I can handle a shitty story because I just don't pay attention to it. But even
Yeah.
the combat felt
Right.
off to me. Like there was just so many things happening on screen, and
Yeah,
I don't
it
know what I was
so
doing.
much.
I was like, even the combat wasn't fun.
It was so much. Yeah, it was just so much, and like sometimes the problem is that because so much was happening, my brain kind of went into a I'll just beat this, right? kind of mode, and then I wouldn't realize I was losing because it was just so busy and hectic. And I realized that I think the reason it was so busy and hectic is because some of the moves in there are like new kinds of moves that like Sora had gained from previous games, but they didn't want you to start over. So instead you would get these like really quick tutorials about how to like do these new things. And I was like, I cannot keep up. I was
Yeah.
just button mashing at one point,
Yeah.
not knowing what I was even doing. It was just... And it would tire me
Yeah.
out because it's actually too much stimulation, if you can
I've
believe it.
always
Like,
felt
too much
that
was happening on
like
the screen and
the
I couldn't
Kingdom
keep
Hearts
up.
games, the controls weren't the best, but at least KH1 and 2, I felt like I was doing things deliberately. But KH3 was like, I
Yes.
don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And not only were the controls just weird, and maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'm at that age where it's just difficult for me to switch from game to game and learn different controls. Fuck, I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Same.
exposing myself. But it's like, but it's also the fact that there's just so many like, on the screen, there's just so many things for the player to like see, and it just confuses the shit out of me. It's like so many things happening, and then there are summons and all that. I really wanted to like it.
I know, and I don't even know how they work. Yeah, I wanted to as well. It also did not help that my wife would just leave the room whenever I was playing, so I'd be like by myself, and I don't like that. Like if I'm playing in the living room, I need a little more people
Especially
interaction.
when the game is just
and so
not
it was kind of like,
that
oh man,
fun.
all right, well I don't
Yeah.
want to play. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, all right, well I don't want to play this. It was. I think I stopped. I think I got a little farther. Did you see?
No,
did you go to
I,
Rapunzel or
first-
Frozen?
the first one was
Or, sorry,
Hercules,
Tangled
right?
and
And then the second was Toy Story, right?
yes.
I'm pretty sure I
I
stopped
think
like
so.
halfway
You go
in
to
the
Toy
Toy
Story.
Story world.
Okay. I got through all of that. I remembered I really liked the Monsters Inc. world, but the problem with the Tangled and the Frozen ones is that they just, especially Frozen, they just replayed cutscenes from the movie. And listen, I like the Frozen movie, don't get me wrong, but I did not play this game to just replay the cutscenes. And so it looked like some really amateurish, like, we're going to add
That's what
Sora,
happened
Goofy, and
with,
Donald to Frozen kind of thing.
Ratchet
Like it was
and
like a
Clank.
gag.
The new, not the latest one on the PS5. I don't have a PS5, but the one on the PS4, which is one of the reasons why I got a PS4. You know how much I love Ratchet and Clank. Because at the time they made a 4Kids movie, so the cutscenes in the game was just literally from the movie, and it's just what the fuck. I mean, the gameplay is amazing. It's really good.
Yeah.
But the story, the humor, everything was just like,
Yeah.
felt like there was no effort into that
it
part
sucks.
of the game.
Ugh. Yeah. And also, not to mention the biggest thing with Kingdom Hearts 3, no Final Fantasy characters. It was all just Disney. Yeah. because or original
Wait,
characters.
was there like
but there was no
Squall
like
and stuff?
mix of Final Fantasy.
Oh, huh?
No,
That's weird.
yeah, none of them showed up. Yeah, it was. I don't know why. It's just something they've chosen to do. Their original characters are still very Final Fantasy like, but otherwise
I was
it's just
watching
those
a
original
video
characters
about
in
the
Disney.
PS3 console generation, and somebody put in the comments, me and my family members and a bunch of my friends bought the PS3 because we thought Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be on that system. And I was just like, that was funny as hell.
Of course.
Yeah.
The fact that it
How
actually
many
came
years?
out was
Like
a miracle.
12? 10 years? 12 years? Something like that, right? Something stupid. Yeah. I mean, if you're talking just like the mainline game and not like the
because
side
I
games,
was.
like Birth
Oh
by
yeah,
Canal,
I'm not counting the
like,
side
whatever the
games.
names are
Let's
called.
see, hold on.
Whatever, yeah.
Birth by Canal. I
325
love it. Hold on,
years
let me
plus
see.
days.
So Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in. Oh, it's more than. Okay. So Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in. Hold on, let me look this up because this is about to be sad. So Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2005. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in 2019. So 14 years.
That's a long time.
That's bad. No wonder I had no patience to
The
play
fact
it.
that they
I went
actually
up a
released it at all is,
generation.
yeah, like you said, it was a miracle. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Did you watch anything?
I've watched the new Vox Machina. They have 2 sets of 3, so they have 6 episodes out so far. Again, very good if you like Vox Machina. Well, if you like D&D, very fun still.
That's
still
different
really
from
sharp.
Critical Role.
Definitely
right?
need to watch the first season though. Don't.
Oh, so it's a series.
It is from Critical Role. So
Right.
okay. Yes. So, Critical Role is the company, the
whatever.
streaming
Yeah.
of the people. Yeah, channel. Yeah, that plays plays D&D. Vox Machina was their campaign.
And they have a few other series
storyline. So Vox Machina is. Yes. So that Vox Machina was like campaign 1. Mighty 9 was campaign 2, and I do not know what campaign 3 is called. That's their newest one, is campaign 3. So campaign 1 was several years ago. Because you have to remember, these are like long-lasting games. These are campaigns, so they span a couple of years. So it's concurrent, and I mean, it's never going to be like manga anime concurrent. Vox Machina ended years ago, so they already know what they're going to be doing for the show. What is exciting is Mighty 9 got announced. That's campaign 2, which also is already ended. They're never going to do, like, Campaign 3 will now be animated while they're still playing Campaign 3. They won't do that. It won't happen. It just goes.
There's an update on the D&D thing. Did y'all see that?
There is. Yes, there is. Oh, yeah, we all know. We were all celebrating. Yeah, basically the whole OGL thing we talked about, they reinstated the OGL 1.0, which we were talking about, and they made several of just the D&D stuff into Creative Commons, which is huge. Now, the one thing that's definitely for sure going to happen, and we're all just going to have to shrug our shoulders and deal with it, but honestly, this isn't too surprising. They're making a new version of D&D called 1 D&D, or as we call it, 6th edition. That one is very likely going to have all the heavily incurred penalties that we talked about.
Oh, you mean as in
third party
right.
and stuff like that. So, what we were talking about, the royalty stuff and the limitations and things like that. So
but
for sure,
that's
definitely probably going to happen. I have. Yeah, but the 5th edition, which is what a lot of people have based their, careers off of that we talked about, including Critical Role, that is all safe, basically. So really what's just going to happen is until that 6th edition comes out, creators and stuff are going to be good to go with 5th edition. Once the 6th edition comes out, it's going to be a bit of a mess because those creators are probably not going to be able to switch over to the new editions, and so they'll want to keep the old edition. But how many people are going to be sticking around?
How
it's hard to say.
Is it
so
to
we'll see.
move to a new edition every time it comes out?
Excellent question. That's really hard to say because D&D's had a really weird history with its editions. To give you a little bit of context, first D&D, no one even talks about because it's barely playable. Second edition, also known as Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, you basically have old grognards that play, but that's about it. And you can find old material for, but nothing anyone's making seriously. Third edition was the big honcho one. It's the one that like most people, if you started D&D, that's the one you played. That's the one I started on. There's tons of materials for it. Some people still play it even.
Made for it?
But nothing official.
That, like,
I would say like it's all just
reason to move because people will just make new stuff for the new stuff. Right.
Pretty much. Yeah. And so because what's going to happen is any newcomers are probably going to just start with the first version, the latest edition they can get, because old edition stuff is going to phase out. There's going to be less support for it. You're probably not going to be able to find many books on it. I mean, these days you can only find old edition books at like bookshops that carry the older used copies. There's no new copy of third edition. You know what I mean?
Okay,
so things like
I
that.
Seriously have no idea.
It's hard
Never
to say.
Never played D&D, don't know how it's made, done, whatever.
Yeah.
There's shit floating around that you can get for free, right? Online.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, there's tons of stuff you can get around. Some people will some people have made Patreons around.
Right. So if you're really okay
D&D
not
content.
moving,
yeah.
you won't really
I mean,
be affected. Sort of, kinda. Right.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just you got to rely that people want to stay with the content. The reason I'll be curious to see what happens is 5th edition has lasted for like over 10 years, which is unheard of. Like, to give you some context, I was like 10 years old when I was playing 3rd edition, which had been out for a little bit. I was around 16 when 4th edition came out, and then I think I was like early 20s, maybe not even 20, when 5th edition came out. And now here we are like 10 years later. So,
and when you say people make new stuff for the editions, whenever it's like people, like, so currently people are making stuff for 5th edition, right? That's the latest one. What are they making exactly?
Yeah.
Like stories, campaigns,
So, several different things. You're on the right track. Some create story campaign books, so
and
they
Hasbro
might
wanted
have
to monetize
like
that.
adventure modules.
Hasbro wanted to monetize that?
I'm sorry? Basically, they wanted to try to like collect royalties off of people who are
like you say Patreon, and sometimes people sell them.
Yeah, usually. Yeah. Yep. And sometimes people make token artwork that you can get. Maps is a big one. Some people make maps for free, but maps is a really big one.
Watch like some YouTube videos and like people who like world building type of people, and they like show off this like websites that you can make maps with. Looks so cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Incarnate, super cool. Yeah, absolutely. There's also some people have made a living of just kind of making YouTube D&D content. If you've heard of Ginny, I think she's the one you Ginnidi,
she was pissed off about this, right? Yeah.
Yep, she's. Oh yeah, she was pissed. She cosplays as her characters and does things like makes little videos, or her big thing every year is to make a calendar of like professional photo shoots of her cosplaying as her D&D characters. So, people have made all sorts of kind of content with it. And the reason the whole thing was so nefarious of what they were doing is because this is really a legalese thing to explain, but like when you make, so other things that people might make are like new classes,
but following the rules
to play.
Kind of,
so, or really New subclasses. Yes. So, and the problem is that, like, what Wizards was kind of doing was basically making it, because originally, you know, when you make a subclass, you're going to use terms and abilities that are referenced in the player's handbook, meaning, like, referenced in official material, because, of course you are. You're not going to make up brand new material. Yes, it's true that D&D can't, you know, trademark things like a D20, but it can say, you know, to make a, to make a sneak attack, like, as part, anyway. Like, the point is that nothing can be made in a vacuum, and so it's always going to reference the source material. And basically, Hasbro was trying to lock down on that. Like, if you use anything that references this was the problem. If you used anything that referenced the source material, you had to upload it, and if you uploaded it, basically Wizards could just use it. That was a big thing. You didn't really actually own your stuff.
Hasbro is planning to make a 6th edition, right? Whatever they call it. It's basically 6th edition, right? Pretty much.
Yes, called 1D&D. Yep.
And eventually they'll make a 7th edition and 8th edition if they keep going with this. Right?
Probably. Very likely. Probably the way they've described this 6th edition called 1D&D, it's most likely going, from what I understand, it's probably going to be equivalent to like Microsoft 365, if that makes sense.
Games as a service?
Yeah. I don't know. We don't know for sure, but the way they've described it, it's certainly... Yeah, because they had a new subscription model that was just awful. It was like $30 a month for like certain things anyway, it was
if
awful.
Let's say they come up with a 6th edition and they put in all the shit they want to put in, as in they put in all the microtransactions, all the monetization. Is it possible in 20 years people will just, there will be some people on that edition, but most people will just be on the 5th edition and everybody will be fine? Is that possible?
I'm not sure. It will just kind of depend on like how much of a presence there are of people keeping up 5th edition alive. I could see from the basis of people, because 5th edition brought a lot of new blood to the game. A lot of people, and sort of Critical Role especially, brought a lot of people who normally like wouldn't even think of D&D, have like sudden interest in it. So it's a lot of people that didn't have like the old. It could be that too. I just know, like most people I talked to, it was Critical Role that really brought them to it.
If I watched Stranger Things, would I have a better understanding of D&D? Not really. Fall says no.
I'm not. So you would have a better understanding of how people play it, I guess. The problem I would actually argue is D&D gives you a better understanding of Stranger Things. The bad guys that they fight are all named after famous D&D monsters. So, yeah, except for the last season, the latest season. They're just like, yeah, I'm Vecna, who's like one of the biggest bad guys in D&D.
So Stranger Things is just
the Demogorgon from
D&D,
season 1.
The 80s kind of, basically.
I mean, how I would describe it is more, it's not really D&D, because like the whole background of it, like the monsters they name after D&D monsters, but the upside down world, as they call it, is not really D&D-esque at all. It's really more of that they're taking this idea of like the moral panic of D&D and putting it in the setting, really. Yeah. Like they don't, it's funny, it's not until the latest season 4, that there's actually any backlash against the kids playing D&D. Before that, it's just seen as like, oh, these kids are just playing their games. Like it's not taken that seriously. But the 4th season, there's actually like a moral panic within the town about it. And it's
they actually say it's D&D, right? In the game? In the show? Do they have to pay Hasbro for that?
Oh yeah, they say Dungeons and Dragons. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I believe
But Critical Role doesn't have to?
I think so. I'm not sure, to be
honest
with you, but
works.
I think they do. Well, so Critical Role at this point I believe Critical Role has been like sponsored by D&D, so they get their own kind of contract and rights and stuff like that. That's actually why when this whole thing went down, they really couldn't say anything, because otherwise they would lose their contract.
Partner type of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I'm still seeing bundles of like on Humble Bundle at least, like the Pathfinder bundles, or I think there's even one called "Do you want to try Pathfinder?" Something funny. Like
I actually feel. Yeah. I feel so bad actually for Pathfinder, because what definitely happened is a bunch of people ran to Pathfinder. And I'm not saying Pathfinder is a bad system, but it feels like it was born actually out of D&D. It was like basically based off of third edition D&D, but they were mad because of similar issues that happened today. So Pathfinder was born, and it is now a different system, but it still feels very D&D-esque. But I feel really bad because Pathfinder is an interesting system, but it definitely has its faults that are kind of funky, and a lot of people very much like, I'm going to learn Pathfinder, and then very quickly went, oh, I really don't want to learn Pathfinder. Which I feel bad, but whatever. There's a lot of other good systems out there, but everybody wants D&D, so whatever.
I'm surprised there hasn't been more of a rise for like mutants and masterminds, or like given how popular Marvel is, or even Star Wars. I think there'd be more. I guess it's easy just to emulate in D&D, so you don't need to actually just go to these other specific niche systems.
One of the hard parts is like mutants and masterminds. I'm not sure if that was going to be like caught in the OGL nonsense. Yeah, I know, right? I think mutants and masterminds was going to get caught in the OGL debacle. And that was one of the problems I thought I had read, but I could be wrong.
Wizards?
I don't really remember exactly the issue, but the problem is I think it was like because remember that one of the issues with the whole D&D scandals, they were scrapping the original OGL and making a new one, basically retroactively saying that one was no longer going to apply. So that's what I mean. Like, I think Mutants and Masterminds was made under the original OGL, which meant it was like third party and not like totally sponsored with D&D. But it wasn't like its own thing like Pathfinder necessarily. So I think it was going to get wrapped up. So I think that's
doesn't know
why
shit about
D&D
D&D
about it.
It sounds like because you're talking about like mutant masterminds, and Fo just said that you can just apply it to like if you want to like different kind of like themes, you can just apply it to D&D. It just sounds like the hardest thing to create are like the rules and how the world interact with each other, like the stuff in the world interacting, the rules and like the skills.
It's hard to create. Yeah. I mean, whenever making games is hard. So making it's hard to think things are balanced and you know not overly
and
exploitable.
D&D is like the
and also
friendly?
The law around games.
Is Pathfinder
not
like
most friendly,
less
just
friendly
most famous.
than the 5th edition?
Yeah.
Most famous, the most money. Some would argue yes. I would argue it just depends.
More rules.
It is a
Harder
little
to
bit more
learn,
mathy. It's a little more crunchy. I would argue that I would just argue. I don't know if it's hard to learn. I think it's more of whichever one you started with, you probably are going to find the other one arduous to learn because it's like similar but different.
Right. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Kinda, yeah. Because there's tons of other tabletop games that are very simple, that do not require a lot of reading and stuff. I've played in several of them. One of my favorites, Numenera, is super simple. Very simple character sheet. You only roll one die that you do throughout the game. It's not several die. Like, very, very simple. The main thing with D&D that's been so funky, and the reason why with Hasbro it's been so annoying, is because legally you can't copyright game rules. Like a board game. You can't copyright the game rules. Now, you can, like, copyright how it's written from, like,
names,
a presentation, like artistic and stuff like that. But you can't, like... Yeah. But, like, you know, for instance, Cards Against Humanity is just apples to apples.
Didn't they try to sue somebody?
And so are many other games. You can't copy...
Cards Against Humanity tried to sue somebody else, right?
Oh, they did. Did.
Were they getting
somebody
sued?
went...
I don't even remember now.
Oh, yeah, they tried to sue, because... No. So there was... I don't remember which, but there were tons of spin-off with Cards Against Humanity games, and one of them... I want to say it was...
What?
Crabs Against Humidity, but I could be wrong. There was a bunch of them out there. There was a spinoff called Crabs Adjust Humidity. It's basically the same game. It's just different cards. Because there were tons of spinoff from Cards Against Humanity when it came out. And yes, Cards Against Humanity tried to sue one of them, and their lawyers basically went back to them and went, "You do not want to go this path because I think it's
Don't play with
Hasbro
Hasbro.
owns Apples
That's a
to
fucking
Apples,
billion-dollar.
and they will be on your ass." So, yeah.
Would you say D&D is to RPGs as like poker is to playing cards?
Yeah, I think so. It's the one that everyone
there's simpler
knows.
card games, there's more complex card games, there's
Yep.
more child-friendly card games, but it's
Yes.
just the most popular one.
Yep, that's what I would
And,
say for sure.
And Texas Hold'em
It's
is
just
D&D,
it's the
and
one that
others are
got
just
big and famous, and the
Pathfinder.
one that got bought.
Right.
I mean, there's different flavors, right?
Yeah. It's like Monsters, Mutants, and
Depends on your
Masterminds is like Texas Hold'em. Your traditional D&D is 5-card poker. I don't know.
There's also literally one
I just
called, like,
love the
Cauldrons and
names. I
Caverns,
love it.
which is like,
I
it's
love
like
the
a
names.
straight rip
It's probably my favorite thing about these
That's
things.
really funny. I know they're pretty great. They're pretty.
You just need 2 alliterative things and you're good to go.
There was a joke, like a random comic that had like these dragons like playing on a tabletop game, and they called it Humans in Houses. I always thought that was really cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I wish D&D wasn't like the most popular one, because I do think for like people to enter, because most people that enter.
I mean, this is a D&D podcast.
If you'll let me be on my
That's
soapbox for a
fucking
second.
Whatever.
So the thing about tabletop. It is now. I've overtaken it. Here's the thing about tabletop role-playing games is there's several different reasons why you want to play, but the main 2 reasons are the gameplay. So the actual literal like tactics battle, you're rolling the dice, you're making choices of how to fight things. And the role-play way, which is, the acting out, the creation of a character, the narrative thing, and stuff like that. And the problem is that D&D was very much created much more to be that tactical thing. I mean, D&D has its roots in, like, Warhammer and shit, like tactical board games and shit like that. It was meant to be, like, fantasy tactics. So that's where it comes from, and that's what it does that really well. The problem is that people mainly, and this is not a criticism, it's just the truth, a lot of people came into D&D newbies, came into D&D, from Critical Role. Critical Role is a performance. It's a bunch of voice actors who have made up deep character storylines, who do interesting things and have, like, different kinds of relationships with each other, and they can improv it and all that stuff. So that's what people are looking for, which is fantastic, but D&D, there are lots of other systems that allow you to do like role play stuff with some game mechanics really, really nicely. D&D does not. It does not. It's if you are not going to get into like I know people who are D&D players, and they're like, yeah, I would be very happy if I never be in a battle in D&D. And my response, you don't want to play D&D. You want to play a different tabletop RPG game. Or RPG, excuse me. But that's my opinion, because there's tons of other games. There's a Game of Thrones tabletop game that's actually pretty darn good. And that one has like physical battles and court
Is that
battle
Ace
systems.
Attorney?
D&D does not have that. Yes. Like,
Oh.
yeah. Sadly not. No, but this is more, when I say court, I don't mean like a court of law. I mean like courtiers. Yeah, so political intrigue kind of stuff. So the Game of Thrones system has like mechanics to, bonk somebody in the head with a sword, but it also has mechanics for like talking to somebody so eloquently that they get swayed to your side of the argument.
So D&D is a very
does not do that
combat-heavy
very well,
kind of.
despite what people want to try to make it be. Anyway, I got to get very. It is. And people who try to make it otherwise, I
Might as
go,
well just
that's
create
not
your
the
own
system
at that
for you. Find another system. This is not it. But if you want to, there's a fate system. I have not played it, but the whole idea behind fates is that you can kind of make whatever you want out of it. It's super open-ended. It exists. If you can think of it, it exists.
I've never played it. What's the super cool system where instead of rolling dice, you pull a piece from a Jenga tower?
That's Dread.
Dread.
Dread. Dread is fascinating. The only thing I don't like about Dread is it does not teach cooperative storytelling very well, because it's very like it's like you against the other players, really. But yeah,
not GURPS. There's another similar one, like Paranoia. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, there's a similar one.
There probably is. I don't know all the systems, but I know Dread because I played it in college. But yeah, the idea is that you take an action and you have to pull a block, and basically you die if you make the tower fall. Yeah, it's supposed to be real tension. It's supposed to be it is a good place to start to try to teach role playing to people. I just don't like it. I don't like it as necessarily the best starting point, because I found people who've started with that system. Sure. Yeah. Well, I find that people who start with that one don't understand that D&D is, or any other tabletop game, is cooperative storytelling. So they'll do shitty things like, well, I'm going to steal from my fellow player. And I go, you should not do that. That's a bad idea.
PvP is something everyone has to be on the same page about in the campaign.
Oh yeah, and most systems are not built for PvP, D&D included.
That's okay. I find it interesting. It's just something that I probably would never.
Sorry to make this into a D&D podcast.
I want to say finding a good game master is probably pretty difficult.
Time. Yeah, they have services where you can pay for people, but I get it. You really want to be with people that you trust. My brother has been a game master since he was 13, and I was 10. So, like, I know what I'm getting myself into. It's just really been this last couple of years I finally branched out to other game masters, to be honest with you, because he's the one I've always known. So, yeah, it's hard, and there's a lot of horror stories out there. I've been lucky to have never really run into them. My issues with D&D run more personal stuff, not like, hey, you're a girl. I never had that issue, thankfully, but whew, are they out there.
What did you do for?
Yeah. Did you do something interesting?
I spent way too much time playing
Is it
Dice
that good?
Program. Up until 2. Like
it's not that good.
This week when on work nights. It's not that good.
Oh my gosh!
It's just that I just have that shitty personality, like a hyper attention focus type thing, where it's like, okay, I'll go to bed after I fix this thing, and I gotta fix other thing. Just one more thing to fix. Like the Minecraft thing,
Oh damn!
It's basically like a satisfactory
in space
Factorio type game, yeah. But you can. Eventually you can tech up to like exchange resources between planets and then exchange resources between solar systems. So it's all about like designing your factories in ways where you can easily like change specifically where resources are coming from, kind of. I don't know, it's fun. It's has some weird things. It like one thing about it's really weird, I think, is it gives you almost too much freedom when you're flying in between planets, where like a couple times now I haven't been carrying enough like fuel for like my robot avatar, so like I'll spend fuel to like get up to a speed where it's not going to take me literally half an hour to fly between 2 planets, but then I won't have enough like energy to like steer well enough, and so I'll shoot by the planet, and then I have to spend like literally half an hour, like slowly just letting my natural battery charge up so I can turn around. And I think the game wants me to reload a save, but it's just like, that shouldn't be the solution here. Like, if I forgot to save, which I did, so I couldn't do that. So I had to actually just like put on a like Columbo and on one screen just wait while my game slowly does whatever. So I've been playing that a lot, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. It's not multiplayer, which always makes it a little less fun, but it is fun. I do like it. If you like Satisfactory or Factorio, you will definitely like this game. It's more of the same kind of stuff. And I've also been playing a lot of Valheim, because I have two friend groups who both have servers going since the Mistland patch, and both groups are kind of staying more or less the same. So one group is a ton of people, like 14 people. Not 14, like 8 people. And the other one is like me and just one other guy. But we're both like in the plains, which is the old endgame content. So we're almost into the new content, which I'm super excited for. But yeah, it's mostly in that, just like setting up farms. Like, it's some of the people in the big group have never played Valheim before, so I I don't want to tell them how to play because I want them to discover things and have fun, but I also don't want them to spend all the resources I harvest sometimes. Like, oh yeah, you could build a new boat, but getting more iron's not something that's fun for me to do, and you're not going to do it. So I'd prefer if you didn't. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. What did I watch? I just today watched all of, it's like a 6-episode series called like Kunk on Britain, where it's like some female comedian whose character's last name is Kunk, and it's kind of just her through the course of 6 episodes doing like a mock-you like history series. Like it starts off like the creation of Earth, and it ends with like most recent like British history. It was all focusing on Britain, but she's asking, like, she's talking to like experts and asking these like, really dumb questions, like, so like Charles Darwin, he sailed on a beagle, and they're like, no, yeah, it was the ship the Beagle. It's like, oh, it was a ship, not a dog.
The experts are in on it, right?
Like, you're really dumb stuff. And as far as I can tell, I don't know. I don't know if they're in on it. They keep really straight faces, but some of them are just weird
like
enough.
The same
that, like,
expert,
like,
but on different
she's
topics.
She's talking to like this guy who's like
there's one guy.
He works with the same experts do appear on multiple episodes, but it is still generally like this person's like history, this person's like culture, this person's like laws or whatever. I don't know. Because like there was one of the guys who I don't think was in on it. It was I guess he worked for the BBC or something, and she's like, okay, so the BBC, like, it only makes content that it claims is like educational, informative, or entertaining. Now I'm going to like list some shows, and you need to tell me like which one they are. And she's like, like the news. And he's like, informative, this thing, educational, whatever. And then she says like Detective Phil or whatever, and he's like, I don't know what that one is. She's like, oh yeah, I made that one up just to trick you. He's like, well, I wasn't tricked. I detected it immediately. He's like really like insecure about it. It's like, okay, you might think this is more real than you really should at this point, given the past history of questions she's asked you. Because like one guy, he's talking about like steam powered trains, and she's, do you have to like mine the steam to power the trains? And she's like, oh, no, you make it by burning coal.
That's
coal?
when she asks like
it's almost like a
American
toddler level
guy,
intelligence
like,
sometimes.
why is it
sometimes it's a little uncomfortable
for all Americans to shoot people or some shit like that? It's just right in your fucking face. It's
just so I think I watched it because my friend told me about it today. And I think my friend told me about it because this Kunk character just got a new series on Netflix called like Kunk on Earth. So I've only watched the old like Kunk on Britain.
Right.
And so I think the new one, it might be what you're talking about. You're talking about the American, because I don't think I saw the American.
It is very uncomfortable.
I will now watch that. So yeah, it's occasionally uncomfortable, but more frequently very funny. And there's a lot of stuff around the interviews that's also very funny, because like it's definitely making fun of like the like documentary style, where it's like her like walking down the street, like saying some like facts types things, and then like she turns to go into a door to like be the segue, and the door's just locked, and she like walks into it and just cuts. So it's just weird little details like that are so funny
from like YouTube. I don't actually know the name.
I watched it all on YouTube. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I need to Google it again. Kunk on Britain. Yeah, C-U-N-K on Britain. It's the 6 episodes.
I think that's one she even asked about like the Russian Sputnik and like potatoes or something. Like it's just fucking, I don't know.
Yes, I remember her talking to a guy about potatoes. Because, like, also, one of the things that she always does is when she's talking to somebody about, like, an explorer, like, it's like, so-and-so, like, went to America, and he found potatoes there. And so she's like, so, like, how did he invent potatoes?
It does feel like maybe 10% of the time she is making stupid statements to make fun of, like, something else. But 90% of the time, it feels like she makes stupid statements just to make stupid statements.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell if it's like criticizing something, if it's satire or just parody.
It's hard.
It feels like it switches all the time.
It's hard to tell.
Right.
It definitely it's not as like social commentary-y as like the Ali G show or something like that, or Nathan for You.
Yeah, it
But
definitely feels
it
sometimes
feels
that I
kinda similar
definitely
in
feel
terms of,
cringe.
like, the
And these
uncomfortable
clips I watch is
feel.
just like 60 seconds long. It's just like, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
That's probably why I never really looked out for the full episodes, because I'm not
Yeah.
sure if I can
I mean, yeah.
take
Just read.
a full episode. Right.
I think you could. I don't think it's like that the whole episode. I mean, yeah. So I watched that. I watched half of. There's a Stanley Kubrick film I've never seen called Barry Lyndon, and so I watched half of that because it's 3 hours long. So I watched an hour and a half's worth, and I'll finish it this weekend probably. It's really good though. It's about like this Irish guy in like the 1800s who like kills the guy in a duel, and then he flees and he joins the army, and like he kind of like falls into a bunch of like, you know, army criminal type guys, and he eventually like lies and cheats and steals his way into like the aristocracy. Like, I don't know, it's funny, it's good actually. I mean, it's Kubrick, so it's a little artsy and full of itself, but I'm liking it a lot. I also watched a movie called They Came Together, starring Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler, and it's from the creators of Wet Hot American Summer, and it's a movie that's like a parody of rom-coms that is pretty good. I'd recommend it.
Dyson?
I think that's pretty much it. I mostly just spent way too much time playing Valheim and Dyson Sphere.
That's
I didn't
so
really
funny.
do a lot other than that. I had improv stuff going on. Nothing worth talking about here.
I'm at that point. Yeah, I'm at that point where
if I think
like,
of anything, I'll bring it up later.
I
What about
don't
you,
have
Shar?
any new things to play, because a lot of new things I either don't want to play it now, or there's just nothing to play. So I'm kind of going through my backlog, which is a good thing, but also it's like, I don't know. I just feel I don't know. I feel like I'm playing games just for the sake of. Does that make sense? I'm playing games just right, and just to like clear my backlog. Yeah, I'm
Totally.
like,
Yeah.
this is a game I bought. Might as well play
Not
it.
having joy so
I
much.
bought to play it at some point, so might as well play it, because now I kind of have time to play my backlog. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what itch I
Right.
have to scratch, because sometimes I'm not in the mood for artsy fartsy indie narrative games. I have to be in the mood for that, and I haven't been in the mood for that for a long time, and I don't want to. I don't know. I recently played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is the latest one from like 2020 or something. I didn't even realize I had it. Like, I was just going through my backlog.
Okay.
So I go through all my like Epic, Steam, Ubisoft. I was like,
That's
oh, I
funny.
have Valhalla? Yeah, let's play that. Yeah, I played 60 hours of it, didn't finish it, and I stopped. Yeah, it is a long time, and the fact that I haven't finished it yet is
That's a good chunk of
fucking
time.
insane.
I mean, that's
yeah.
a long time. I don't know.
I feel
That's sad.
yeah, it's
These
very.
games.
Is
Too
that because
long.
it's
Do you know how
is
many
it
fucking
open world kind of
icons
like,
there are on the fucking
so there's a
map?
lot of, like,
Holy
gain control
shit, the
points
number
and
of
kinda
icons.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's 100% like it's
It's
probably
that's
the
the
most
Ubisoft
Ubisoft
special.
game out of all the Ubisoft games, and I had fun. The combat is pretty decent. The story is interesting-ish, but I don't know why I played 60 hours of it. I think I felt tired of it in like 30 hours in, but I was like, but I was thinking to myself, I'm already 30 hours in. Maybe if I spend another 15 to 20, I can finish the game. Nope. I'm 60 hours in, still not finished. And sometimes I do, yeah, sometimes I do. I don't know why I didn't look up.
Do you
like,
ever
it's
look up
just-
like time to finish or time to beat, whatever it's
Sometimes
called?
I do, but I don't put too much stock in it because I'm not sure how
I
accurate they
usually
are.
don't, but I'm curious, yeah.
But I guess they're pretty accurate because they take information from a
Yeah.
bunch of players, right? And they give you the average, right? I'm guessing it's just but they are able to somehow give me because there is a specific
Guessing, I'm
website
not
for this,
actually
right?
sure.
Yeah.
How long to beat, and I don't know how they are able to differentiate main quest only, and do main quest plus a bunch of shit is two different. Like, I don't know how is it surveys? Is it installing something on the PC? And like, I don't know, sounds like whatever. And the amount of icons on the fucking map, I actually did the first two areas, all of it. And then after that, I just stopped doing all of it. I just went through the main stories. And yeah, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is like, you know, you're Vikings, you go to England, you set up a new settlement. You can build up a settlement so you can build different houses and stuff. You get to raid monasteries and castles and shit. That's pretty fun. You know, you're on your long ship. You go to the monastery, you blow your horn, all your people go to do the RNP, the Earn and Pillage. And that's fun. I mean, they don't have that really. It's just the pillaging. And it's just mostly fighting and stealing shit. That's fun. But then, oh my god, there's just so much stuff. And I don't know, it's probably one of the most, if not the most unpolished AAA game I've ever played. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's hyperbole to say that, but
wow.
Alright. Yeah.
It's kind of janky a little bit. And to be fair, Assassin's Creed games have been kind of janky, but I feel like this one is either because I haven't played one in a long time, or this one is just jankier than the others.
Yeah.
I played the previous one, the one in Greece.
What was the last one you
Odyssey
played?
I've played almost all the Assassin's. Why? I have no fucking idea. The series.
Odyssey, yeah.
Okay, that's the. Okay,
so I actually haven't played them.
The problem with the series.
Are they
since I have quite a bit of
or are they
experience
action
in the
games? Or
series,
kind of like
for
play it how you
God
want?
knows why.
Here we go.
Okay, so the first game. Okay,
Yeah.
let me try that. All right, so from Assassin's Creed
I love
1
it.
to the Ezio trilogy to Black Flag. Black Flag is Assassin's Creed 4, so Assassin's Creed 3 as well, I think. Assassin's Creed Origins, which is the one in Egypt, and that's number 7. Right. That's where it really started with the RPG mechanics. Like, you can level up.
Wow.
The enemies actually have a level, so you can't just go fight whoever you want kind of thing. And assassinating higher level characters don't actually kill them one shot. It just takes out a chunk of life and then you have to continue fighting them. Compared to like the previous series where it's less RPG and more action adventure, you can assassinate anyone because there's no levels and shit. People really hated that, by the way. I turned that off in Valhalla. At least they gave me an option. I don't want to be.
That sounds cool,
because
though.
Because I've played the less RPG ones. So to me, Assassin's Creed is about sneaking around, one-shotting people, and this one and the RPG ones, they have that whole like the whole level thing. So Assassin's Creed Black Flag is, I think a lot of people would agree with me. I think it's consensus that is where the series peaked. Yeah. Not the on-foot stuff is amazing, all that.
That's
but the reason why people love it so much is because of the naval battles. The naval battles, I'm pretty sure that new Ubisoft game that they keep trying to make but never released, that pirate one, was sort of like, let's make the Assassin's Creed Black Flag naval battles into a game. That was right?
Yep.
I can't even remember what's the name of that game, but they keep delaying.
Yeah,
like,
from what I understand, it's exactly what it is.
But I think y'all know what I'm talking about. They want to release a pirate game. So, like, honestly, if there's one you want to play, just play 4. Black Flag. Just play Black Flag. For real, it's the best.
It's the one I own.
Yeah.
So I've
You've been saying that for like 2 years now, at least.
I'll probably play The Witcher first. For some reason, The Witcher's like high on my list of like AAA games to play eventually. I have. I'm not
and Black
play.
Flag
I
is a
did
pretty
play
big game. They're
the
all
tutorial
open
at one
world.
point.
They're all
But at this point,
Ubisoft
I'd have to play through
iconic
the games. I
games.
forgot everything.
Bunch of icons everywhere. But I do feel like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, you will tolerate a bit more because it's fun. That's just it. And wait, are you saying the Wind Waker is the best one?
It's like the Wind Waker of the series.
I would say Breath of the Wild is probably one of the most popular.
I don't know what that
games,
means.
A Link to the Past.
Is Wind Waker the most popular Zelda game? I don't know. Nobody says
what
anything
I've
poorly
heard
about it.
is they want
I
to
haven't
go
played
back
that
to
one.
that less
Yeah.
RPG, more straightforward action adventure type
It's
of game
definitely
for
a
the next
console
one.
one.
If you want RPG, I guess. So for me, why Valhalla is just so unpolished is because they have a lot of good ideas, I would say. There's a really good game underneath, I feel like. But it just wasn't like, it's not very deep. Like, it's just very, like there's a lot of things you can do, but it's just not deep. Like, there's a lot of mechanics, but it's just not deep. And I feel like, and you asked me if it's a stealth game.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a stealth game. Especially when you're stalking your target and wanting to assassinate them, it's supposed to be a stealth game. Valhalla, I feel like there wasn't much of that, at least from the point, and I played 60 hours. It's like, I think I pretty much seen everything. I feel like Assassin's Creed levels.
Sure. It really gets good in the 60.
You gotta give it 60 hours before it gets good.
This isn't Final Fantasy 13.
So I feel like levels should be designed in a way where it gives you multiple ways to stealth through it. It's almost sort of like a puzzle. And I feel like Valhalla doesn't do it enough.
Yes. That was...
Yep.
Advanced
That
Wars?
was my problem with... I don't remember which one it was, but the one
right.
Advanced Wars game I played is it felt like many of the levels had one way to beat them.
Yeah, that was the whole point of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like, even the first one, which
all
is the only
all
one
of the
I
games
played,
get that way. That's the problem.
even though the problem was it got very samey after a while, and there were, but the idea behind it was that there was supposed to be multiple ways to get to your target. And if you planned
feels
enough,
like
you could do lots of crazy
a very
stuff, or you could just go
simplified,
outright and try to kill
not
them,
so
which
well
wasn't always the
executed
best idea,
Hitman
but you
game.
could do it.
If that makes sense. You know how Hitman does like so many ways to kill a target, and this one, I don't know, I feel like the series definitely went away from like the point of it. And the story is convoluted as fuck, because there's the whole like DNA and ancestors, Illuminati with the Apple powers and aliens and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Yeah.
It's gotten... It's Kingdom Hearts level ridiculousness. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
honestly,
and it
just play
technically
Black Flag.
ended at one point. They had
I'm gonna like
ending,
eventually
but
replay
they
Black
keep
Flag,
going.
but not now. Not right after Valhalla. It's just too much AC. It's just too much Assassin's Creed. So it's like, you know how janky it got? There was a point where
Sure.
I think this was just like a few days ago, because I recently just stopped. I was trying to get through a fucking window. Do you know how difficult it was to get through the fucking window? Also, and going through windows is a mechanic they introduced in Unity? I'm not sure Black Flag was... because the things you can climb and shit, they keep adding to them with each like series. So in Ezio, the Ezio trilogy, which is Assassin's Creed 2 up to like... so it's like 2... So Assassin's Creed 2, 3, and 4 technically is the Ezio trilogy, but they weren't named 2, 3, 4. They were named 2 and then something else. That's why Assassin's Creed 3 was like a completely different game, not part of the Ezio trilogy. Yeah. So that one... Yeah. And
it's like
it's fun
Revelations,
because you're
I
in a
think,
pretty
and
big city
something
kind of thing.
weird.
And there's
Because
just so many
Ezio was a
rooftops and all
darling
that.
for a while.
I'm not sure if like going through windows was introduced in the Ezio trilogy. I don't think so. I don't remember, but I don't think so. But Assassin's Creed 3, I think, introduced climbing trees, which you can do in Assassin's Creed 4. And then like, you know, so the games keep adding things you can like climb basically, right?
Okay.
And then eventually you can pretty much almost climb almost anything now. But they put certain things to block you, to like make you like figure things out, how to like, like, it's just normal game design stuff, I guess. So I wanted to get through this fucking like window, like in a castle or like a tower or something. I kept climbing around the fucking window like a fucking moron, because the controls just didn't want me to get through the window because of how like, and I tried tilting it just a little bit, just a little bit on my analog stick. No, it just make a big leap, and it's just like, bitch, can you just get through the fucking... You know how fucking stupid I felt? So that was what was so frustrating. And I would say a lot of the Assassin's Creed games are kinda like that, but this one feels like the worst one when it came to that. It's just janky, and it's just, I don't know.
I guess another association I make in my head that I feel like is probably not accurate.
So the Arkham games. So the Arkham games, what they
those are kind of stealthy,
is
actiony character games.
I want to say you're kind of accurate in the sense that there will be sections where you're supposed to stealth. Like if you're attacking an outpost in Assassin's Creed, you can choose to stealth and like take the guards out one by one.
Mm-hmm.
Like Arkham, they have those stealth sections, right? I'm not sure if you remember, right? But then there's the open world sections where you can just fly everywhere and shit. So in a sense, it's the same.
Yeah,
but the stealth sections in Arkham is way better. Number one, because you're fucking Batman. And you have all the gadgets. But also because the levels feel designed for stealth. While in Valhalla specifically, it doesn't feel that way puzzly. Too much.
Mm. Did Ubisoft also make the Lord of the Rings
Shadows of War?
Like Ranger Orc assassin game, or is that EA?
Shadows of War, I think, is the second one. I think that's Activision.
Shadows of Mordor, Shadows of War, Shadows of something.
Monolith Productions, Warner Brothers.
Oh, I didn't know for a second. Okay.
Monolith Productions.
It was.
They've made. Oh, they made the Fear games. That's interesting.
Yes.
Should have shown up in Space Jam.
And they've made Guardians of Middle Earth.
Oh, I've not played those.
Yeah, Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor. Honestly, we all love the game simply because of that mechanic. Oh,
that reminds me. I did start watching Rings of Power. I'm like 2 or 3 episodes in.
Would you recommend it?
I'm liking it so far. Yeah. It's definitely... If you like Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Because all medieval shows has to be compared to Game of Thrones these days. Yeah. Yeah.
So far, much more talking than action.
Yeah, I'll be like, I'll probably see comments about like, people.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want somebody to go in
like Game of Thrones.
Be disappointed.
That reminds me, there's this, sorry to bring up D&D again, but it's just really funny. Apparently, so you know the D&D movie that's coming out, which now we don't have to boycott. Yay!
Do we have a date for that?
Yes.
Is it like late September?
It's very soon.
Not September.
March 31st.
Late March, okay.
Late March. I don't actually know if this was real, but it was circulating on the internet. It was really funny. There was apparently an article that was basically saying, like, turns out, supposedly the new D&D movie, hold on. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second.
I think I might have seen this article, but I can't remember to help you out.
It's okay. I'm just trying to remember what they compared it to.
Yeah.
That's what it was. They're like, Dungeons & Dragons movie trailer is more like Thor Ragnarok and less like Game of Thrones.
That's right.
And all this went. Yeah, and all this went.
That's not a spectrum. I don't understand the line they're drawing.
The line that I'm thinking of is like fantasy serious versus fantasy spoof, and we all went. Yeah, we were expecting some spoof.
I barely think of Thor as fantasy, though, at this point. It's more sci-fi.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But, like, that was the idea.
I agree with you that I think it's what they're doing. I just disagree with them, not you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Apparently, I'm just reading here that Chris Pine has tried to compare D&D to Game of Thrones, but then he also said it was like Princess Bride, which sounds more accurate. I believe the Princess Bride. I do not believe Game of Thrones. I know. Chris Pine, do you know what you're doing? Do you know what movie you just made? He's like, I don't know, the check cleared. And I went, that's fair. That's very fair.
Why does that sound so familiar?
Have you ever watched The Gamers? It was like an hour-long web movie. There's like 3 or 4 of them now. And the first couple are basically just people playing D&D, like a film, like a camera of them sitting around a table playing D&D, and then it cuts to like them kind of in costume.
Is it cringe or is it funny?
The events that they're narrating as they happen.
Okay,
but they're
okay.
comedies, right? Like,
Yeah.
like one guy,
right.
It's really good. Like it's the first one
Budget
has no
1,000?
budget, so it's like a pretty crappy camera, but like the writing's very funny.
Okay.
I don't remember. I feel like
It was like it was like a college
2008
like
Darkness
film.
Rising,
I feel
and
like I
2013
saw
is Hands of Fate.
parts of this a long time
I'd
ago.
recommend the
but
first two. Yes, I've seen.
Oh, is it like the
Yes,
same people?
I would.
Same actors.
I would not recommend Hands of Fate so much. It's more of a. It's the same. It's a lot of the same people. It's not 100% the same people. The third one is less of a D&D
like the previous
parody and
ones
more of a
too?
Magic the Gathering parody.
they're self-contained.
But I think the
kind of.
writing's just slightly less funny. But the second one,
There's like references.
they're
and stuff, I
fairly
guess.
self-contained. I would say watching the first two in order will help you out a little bit.
Oh, there's a web series
but you don't
now.
need to do it. The second, very slight references. Yeah, I think the DM's the same, so there's like some slight references. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. But the second one's really,
in
really good.
2015,
The first one's fine.
announced the web series.
It's good.
and
I like it a lot.
it's,
References a lot.
Funded by
The second one's
Kickstarter.
really good.
The web series will lead directly into the events of the next movie.
Cool.
Just from the wiki,
Oh, okay.
there's no
okay.
name given. Like, I can't click on any like
being released, or
specific
is it still being
wiki.
produced?
So Hands of Fate was funded via
Yeah.
Kickstarter, and this series is also funded via Kickstarter.
Okay, so the series isn't out yet.
Cool. Yeah, sometimes Kickstarter works the way it was intended. Just
Yay,
rarely,
Kickstarter.
but it works sometimes.
what's there? Sometimes. Exactly.
So you
yeah.
recommend the first two?
Sometimes it's what it says.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did we get on this? We were
Or
talking.
if you're a nerd, I guess.
I highly recommend the first two. If you like D&D.
Of course.
I think it definitely be worth watching around the time you watch the D&D movie just to have a comparison. I don't expect them to actually be comparable, other than that they're both around D&D. But it'd be interesting to see the directions a movie could take with the inspiration of D&D.
Yeah, I almost want to watch the original D&D movie, which was garbage. That was
Jeremy Irons
garbage.
is the bad guy,
Yep.
right?
I think so. Yeah, I watched it as a kid because it was one of because like we started playing D&D, and so my parents were like, "Oh, hey, did you know this movie exists?" And of course we're like, "Yeah, we gotta watch it." And then we were like, "I don't understand what's going on."
You could also go watch the
was-
old cartoon.
Oh yeah, I never actually watched it, but I
didn't
certainly know
either.
it.
I watched like a
That was a little before my
YouTube like
time.
review of it. I got the gist. I don't need to watch it. It looks
Yeah, yeah.
bad.
Of course it is. They tried a lot of different things.
Yeah. On the slight aside topic of upcoming movies, I am actually kind of surprised at how much I am looking forward to the new Ant-Man. But I mean, pretty much only because I'm a big Jonathan Majors fan who plays the bad guy.
Got it.
So I'm really excited for that more than anything else.
Yeah, I gotta. When is it coming out again?
February 17th, I believe. So like 2 weeks.
I need to talk to my wife because she always last minute is like, "We should get tickets," and I go, "Yeah, the theaters are sold out."
I don't think I'll see it opening weekend, but I will definitely see it in theaters, I think.
Yeah, she used to. She's not really in this kind of job anymore, but it used to be for her job. She pretty much
Right,
like
for the
had to
reviews
see
and whatnot.
movies. Yeah, well, just
Or they
reviews
could
and
get
also
spoiled. Right.
yeah, she get easily spoiled and stuff like that. And so if there was a minute there where I kind of I never had done like opening shows before, so it was kind of exciting.
It's been a
so I got-
yeah, it's been a long time since I've been to one. I think the last time I went to was maybe like the second Hobbit movie or something.
Mine was
You know, like 10 years
definitely
ago.
whatever the Marvel was before COVID hit was definitely my last one.
Was
I
that
don't remember.
Endgame? Was there one after
Might have been.
Endgame pre-COVID? Yeah, I don't know. That's fun.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah,
think
D&D.
that's what
Yeah,
we-
What were we
it's just a
talking
D&D
about? What was the news
podcast now.
article that oh, you were just talking about what you were playing.
That's fine.
It's the Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
and then that kind of just snowballed
Yeah,
into
yeah,
a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
That's a lot.
I'm sorry.
Assassin's
I promise
Creed
I'll stop
D&D.
How many
I'm
hours
sorry.
per game?
I'm in
on
like
average?
5 games a week, so it takes a big
Oh my
chunk. of my-
gosh! Holy
it's
crap!
so many. Don't do it. Don't do
I
that
would
many.
never 3 is too many.
Let me think. That one's about. They're about like 2. So the average is about 2.5 to 3. My
That's
Saturday
really
game. Yeah, it's actually, I wish it was a little bit longer because it's not enough time. My Saturday game, which is like the one I play with my brother, is more like, let's see, we start around 6. That one's more closer to like 4-ish, sometimes 5. Which is, I think, like, you really need at least like 3 hours to really have a good session. Most of ours run, the ones that I'm in run, well, one of them I run is like 2.5 and it's not enough time. The other ones are more like 3, I would say. So between 2.5 to 4 or 5. But yeah, it's a lot. I think I'm in 5 games. One is right now, like, I have 2 right now that are like on potential permanent hiatus. I have no idea. One that's on a one that's on a temporary hiatus that will come back around. It's just the guy circulates his game. So, and then otherwise I'm in. So I guess I'm only in 3 right now, but I was in 5. So it's a lot.
And they're weekly or bi-weekly?
Do you stream any of them?
Wow. Okay.
They are. One was bi-weekly, but that one's on hiatus.
So it's a commitment.
The rest are weekly. Yes. Although like this. Yes, several of them, actually. The main one, yeah. The Monday one is one that, like, is run by a friend of my wife's who he's trying to be a pro DM.
A streamer, okay.
So I've been in that one for a professional dungeon master. So somebody
like a streamer kind of. You make money by DMing.
The streaming, but also he wants to eventually be. Like people pay him to run a D&D game, basically. So he runs his game on Mondays.
That actually, I think, makes the length make more sense. I feel like it takes more energy to like performatively to play D&D. So maybe 3 hours would be kind of draining.
Yeah. It can be, yeah. We think it's, yeah, I know. It's just hard because, like, that particular Monday game, there's a lot of, like, party interaction stuff, and there just isn't enough time for it all. And then Wednesday, I'm in a game that my wife runs. That's actually in her own, what we call a homebrew world. So it's D&D, but she, like, created her own world, essentially. So that's on Wednesday.
Wait, so I've actually only done that. Is there a canonical D&D world?
Yes. Well, yes and no.
I know there's like gods and plains, but like it's like this city is the city of D&D, the capital of D&D land.
Yeah, it's not like a capital of D&D. It's more of that there's just lots of supplementary materials in their planes of existence. So it's like you're in this plane and you could transport to this plane. So like for instance, on Monday we're playing in what's called Exandria, which is the world that Critical Role is from. The Critical Role people made their own homebrew world, and we're playing in that world on Monday. On Wednesday, my wife made it up. On Saturday, my brother is using a game module called Midnight, which takes place in a fictional world called Aaronland. It's basically a Lord of the Rings of Sauron 1 kind of game. So they made up their own world, but that's what it's based off of. So I one time play Curse of Strahd, which is a whole module taking place in a particular, like, world that's within the D&D cosmos.
I always assumed Curse of Strahd was like a town. I didn't know it was a plane.
It basically is a town. It's just that the idea of Curse of Strahd is that all who enter cannot leave because this vampire Strahd has basically created this bubble of a world. Right. So it basically takes place over a couple of towns, but it is a small area comparatively to like a world.
Got it. Okay.
The other Ubisoft game I've been playing ever since
I played
AC Valhalla is Far Cry 4 specifically.
Help.
Because I pretty sure I played it. I just didn't finish it. So I was like, I don't want to replay Far Cry 3 because I've already played that. And Far Cry 4 is apparently better mechanically, is what I've heard. So, yeah. It's a Far Cry game. But it's, it's one of those emergent type of games. You want to attack an outpost and then a yak mauls you. Which literally happened to me last night. I was just sneaking around using my binoculars, tagging enemies, and then I got smacked in the butt. I'm like, what the fuck was that? At first, I thought it was a fucking
no.
eagle or some shit because that's what happens too. Just this giant ass bird of prey sometimes attacks the shit out of you. And I was like, so I looked up. I was like, son of a bitch, is it a fucking bird again? Nope, it's just a yak.
Nature
Trying to mess with
hates
me.
you.
I don't know why. I didn't do anything to it. The yak killed me, and then when I came back, I destroyed the yaks. Fuck them. Fuck all the yaks.
I'm pissed off the wrong yak today, buddy. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's
Bye.
you kill animals to get their skin,
turn
to
around.
sew them into pouches.
Anthony
You
Yak, don't talk
level
back.
up. You get more skills. Funny as shit happens. You know, I'm just walking to my next objective, and a rhino starts destroying people who did not do anything to it. So it's just, it's just one of those games. And it has co-op. I'm not sure if y'all know this. Yeah, Far Cry games are pretty fun co-op, apparently. I don't think Blood Dragon actually has co-op, but that's probably the most fun Far Cry game I would
only
say.
played Blood Dragon.
Yeah, because it's like a spin-off, not really a full game kind of thing. I wish they would make a full.
It's also
Blood
one of the
Dragon type of
shortest,
game.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, maybe not a bigger one, but give us
I
Blood Dragon
would
2 or something.
like that, but I also felt like
Similar length.
I was satisfied. Like I didn't really need more at the end of Blood Dragon.
So yeah, that's mostly what I played.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just
And
at a very weird limbo kind of with video games at the moment. I don't know. It's just like I look at my backlog. There's a lot of shit to play, and I just go, I don't have anything to play. It's just, I don't know. Nothing's speaking to me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I really want to try Hi-Fi Rush eventually, though. Not sure. So if y'all don't know, it's a very weird thing happened a couple
Jet
weeks
Set
ago.
Radio stylish.
A
kind of
game
one.
just got shadow
With
dropped
the
out
guitar.
of nowhere.
It's like
No
a-
marketing, no
Really cool.
announcement. The announcement was when it released. So Hi-Fi Rush is like a action adventure or like action rhythm game. Very stylish looking. Like very Jet Set Beautiful Joe looking. Like super cool looking.
That's right. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. What was that game that came?
What?
It reminds me of it's a game that came out like 8 years ago that looked kind of like
Oh,
it's like Tony Hawk versus zombies, kind of.
Sunset Overdrive?
It was a lot of skateboarding, but it's very
Yes,
bright and like really like almost like it's going to give you
True.
epilepsy
Right.
kind of stuff going on.
That was actually made by Insomniac.
Sunset Overdrive, good memory. Yes,
Not
that's
sure
what
if
I'm
y'all,
thinking of. It looks
know
kind of like
what's
Sunset
inside,
Overdrive, just artistically, not
Spider-Man
gameplay wise.
and Ratchet and Clank and shit. Yeah, I actually own Sunset Overdrive, and I don't really like it. It's
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a game that I'm supposed
yeah.
to like.
I don't think it got good reviews.
It's by Insomniac.
They
Super
pushed it
stylish
so
as
hard.
fuck. It's
There were so
just
many
crazy,
ads.
but it's just not fun.
Yes, I mean
Yeah, exactly.
that's kind of how I feel.
And
about
you do
this
like
game,
the
though.
things
I mean,
that
I haven't
you
played it
should
yet,
see,
but it's the way
right?
it's like,
Yeah,
you're supposed to
so,
like
like,
this game, me specifically.
so
It's
yeah,
like,
it's
oh, man,
getting a
you're
lot of really
showing
good
me these
reviews.
things, but
People love
like, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the reviews
I do
are
like the
way
things
better
you're
than Sunset
showing
Overdrive,
me.
though, so rhythm action game, beautiful
Good.
graphics, and it's made by Tango Gameworks, who made The Evil
Sure.
Within, the really scary horror survival game, which is fucking weird. Exactly, just came out of nowhere. So and they're owned.
That's right. That's what
The
it
game
was.
is at least published by Bethesda.
This
I'm
is
not sure
very
if Tango is
unrelated.
actually owned by Bethesda, but it also released on Steam, which is good because because Bethesda is now under Microsoft and all. But it's also on Xbox. I'm pretty sure it's not on PlayStation or any other. But it's on Xbox, it's on Game Pass, and it's on Steam, which is good. I am planning on because it's Game Pass, it's just pay like the $10 or whatever equivalent. Just play it. Probably get it, yeah. But I'm kind of waiting because I want to try to play 2 games when the next time I subscribed. to Game Pass because I want to play Hi-Fi Rush and I want to play Atomic Hearts when it comes out, which is at the end of February. Because that is a day one Game Pass thing too. Atomic Hearts is that like Russian BioShock, basically.
Yeah. I forgot about Atomic Hearts.
Yeah.
I think you sent it to me.
There's a couple like interesting new releases. A new Spellforce just came out of nowhere. That's apparently a thing. I like the Spellforce games. It's old school RTS, but you have like hero characters. So it's like a combination of RTS and isometric action.
I recognize the
RPG,
name.
kind of, basically. The new Dead Space remake is out, and people love it. It's like really good. Yeah, and oh no.
Yes.
Very popular. Yeah.
But guys,
if I'm not mistaken
it's
as well,
gender-neutral bathrooms now.
The second game you get
I
for
can't
free
like
if you buy this remake or something like that. Yeah, so that's cool. That's nice. I've actually kind of replayed a little bit of the first one, like the old one,
I'm not sure.
before I even knew
My
this
brother-
came out. I
My
was
brother's
like,
been
yeah.
replaying it.
But I don't wanna pay $60
he
for
really
this
likes
though.
it.
Not at the moment. Just whatever.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
There's
I
this
feel like
game
you
called
kinda-
Post
you
Mouse,
just
which looks
bought
really
it.
cute.
That was like on a Game Pass or something. I think
Adventure
you just
3D
bought it.
platformer. You play a little mouse who's a mailman. It's so cute. It's so cute. Jeez. Yeah. Post Mouse, one word. It just came out 30th of January. And very positive
I like
reviews
those
by Super
words.
Indie.
That's adorable.
Oh, it's free. What the fuck? Oh, it's free. Yeah, you should play it. It's free.
Oh yeah.
Looks really cute. It's on Steam. I'm looking at Steam. And probably the biggest release in the past week is Lust Theory Season 2.
Looking it up.
Adult visual novel.
Yeah.
Lust Theory. The fact that there's a Season 2 for this. People are just horny. People are just horny. There's a new Destiny expansion coming out in
I don't know season 1.
March.
People horny on Maine, man. People horny on Maine.
But I think Lust Theory is gonna get stiff competition with Make Her Come. These are actual game names. Like, I'm not even... Yeah, so it's just...
Oh, I believe it. I believe
That
it.
was a line from Conqueror's England. She's talking to some historian. She's like, "So King Arthur, he came a lot, right? Like more than the average guy." He's like, "No, it's Camelot. I'm reading it here.
So,
it
yeah,
says he came a lot." You know, it's like,
in other news, there's a pretty chill humble bundle right now called Simple Life. There's just a bunch of like sim builder type of games. So Yonder Lake Townscaper is so cute. Garden Paws, which I think you play a
was
cat.
very tempted
farming.
by that.
Or something.
Oh, yeah.
Summon Mara. Yeah, it just looks like a bunch of like chill
Funny.
Harvest Moony type of games. That's, I don't know. I just feel, I'm not sure if it's depression. Like, I get this way sometimes, and I just
Alright.
don't enjoy video games. Yeah. And this isn't, it won't be the first time with me. It won't be the first time. But sometimes it's like, I know
I mean,
if
that
it's
that
depression,
can be a
and
sign
sometimes
of
I don't.
depression or
Yeah,
a
totally.
burnout.
Some of the
from
questions
video
they
games.
ask you.
That happens.
Yeah, it happens.
The human body sucks. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fair. That happens.
I did get a couple of new toys. Blew my budget out within like the first day of the month.
Yeah, well, be gentle and take care
Because
of
that's
yourself.
just how I do it. Live hard, die. I want to die now.
All right.
So I got the Peter B. Parker version of Spider-Man from the Spider-Man Into the Universe movie. So he has a gut. He has soft goods coat. He has like a sweatpants. Mayfax, yes.
Ooh.
Soft goods coat.
I like a figure
soft
with a
goods
coat.
trousers, like sweatpants.
Is that
Which you can
Matrix?
take off, and the Spider-Man thing is underneath.
Nice.
The belly, he has a belly. He has normal Spider-Man feet, but also he has mismatched boot and shoe sneaker type of thing, so you can switch it out. A few different heads. He has a pizza he can hold. He has I'm not sure if he has glasses, but he has a hand with a cup. I do wish he had like a
Awesome.
funny face, but he doesn't. His face are just kind of stoic and like, you know. But yeah, so I'm pretty close to finishing my Into the Spider-Verse collection. I have Miles.
Gotcha.
What? Oscar Isaac?
Isn't that
All right.
Spider-Man voiced by Moon Knight? The guy who plays Moon Knight, isn't he the voice of that? No, you're right. I'm not thinking of Oscar Isaac. I'm thinking of somebody who looks like Oscar Isaac. He was the best friend in the show New Girl.
Now I need to look for
and he
it.
was
Oh,
also
what the
in
fuck?
one of the more recent
He is-
Jurassic Parks.
It is the famous. It is a famous actor.
Jake Johnson is Spider-Man.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Hey. Okay, I'm thinking of Jake Johnson. Let's see. Was he Spider-Man? Okay, yes. But he is not Oscar Isaac.
Liv
He just looks
Schreiber?
kind of like
Oscar-
him.
I didn't know Liv Schreiber was in
Oscar
this
Isaac
movie.
is
Who the
in
fuck
this
was he?
movie, weirdly enough.
Oh, that's weird.
Liv
yeah,
Schreiber was
he's,
Kingpin?
Yeah.
She's
hold up.
Doc Ock, or no, I'm thinking somebody
Doc
else.
Ock, the female version, was in it. Into the
Oh.
Spider-Verse, yeah. Oscar Isaac.
Right, Doc Ock was a lady in this one.
I think Jake Johnson was Peter B. Parker, which is the belly guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And Chris Pine is
Yeah, that's
the
Catherine
blonde
blonde
one?
Hahn.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Mulaney is Spider-Ham, of course. Oh, yeah, Liv Schreiber is Kingpin.
Chris Pine was the one who died.
Catherine Hahn is
Yep.
Octavius.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She's the evil witch. Evil.
Nicolas
They're both
Cage
evil,
is
right?
Spider-Man
So-
Noir.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like a side
Yep,
character.
she's
I guess.
Agatha.
That's cool.
I didn't notice Mahershala Ali was Prowler.
Oh yeah.
Wait, Oscar Isaacs was interesting person number 1.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
I
yeah,
love Mahershala Ali.
that is.
Jorma Tacone.
So, what was I saying? I have Miles Morales, Mayfax Miles Morales.
Wait, where am I
I've pre-ordered
Can't I find...
a Sentinel. Sentinel is the company. Sentinel Spider-Gwen, which will come with a Spider-Ham.
Yeah, you got...
I am going to get a Sentinel one of these fucking days. Oh, the giant one. Dude,
I thought you were...
Who you talking to, man?
Sentinel.
I have similar sized Transformers already, so
But
it's
not
not...
the giant one, right?
Okay.
The giant one. Okay.
I have pre-ordered the Sentinel version of Spider-Gwen, which comes with a Spider-Ham. And
That's-
that Spider-Ham
okay.
is cool because you get to switch out the arms, and one of the arms is holding that giant mallet. So it's really funny.
Interesting.
Love it.
If you say you almost bought that as in a ready stock
I
item,
said
it
that.
should be the
I
main
almost
because
bought
that
that
one's
Cute.
out.
because I wanted
Sentinel one is
Spider-Ham,
not
but I
out.
don't want Spider-Gwen.
I also have Nicolas Cage, but that one's a Hasbro Marvel Legends one. That one also comes with a Spider-Ham, but it's just like a statue that doesn't move.
I don't know if I was...
The only one... The only
Yes.
one that I probably will never get
Okay.
because I don't feel like any
Okay.
company will
Maybe
be able
I'll
to
do
it
that
the way
one
I
then,
want
'cause
it
I
to
like-
is
I
Penny
like
Parker,
more
the one
Spider-Man.
with the robot. Because the Mayfax one is Penny Parker is a statue doing the cute anime pose like this.
Sure. Yeah.
She doesn't
They
go
have a
into the
couple
robot
pretty
suit.
okay
Like,
ones.
come on. The really articulated figure is the robot suit, but she doesn't go into the robot suit. Like, there's no point then.
Yeah.
Just give me a really simple Penny Parker
Oh,
that can
gosh.
go into a
What's the
really
point?
articulated robot suit, then I'm cool with that.
Rude.
But I don't want to be like, hey, I got that. It's
Okay.
just, come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm not paying like $100 for that. So I don't think I will ever own a Penny Parker. Maybe eventually, because the collector in me wants to finish the collection. You know how it is. Yeah. Hopefully. I'm just hoping I'll get a good Spider-Punk.
I think
Because
you'll
of the new
have
movie.
to. Maybe,
Because
maybe. I mean, she might come back in the new movie and they'll make a new figure. Right? That's the
yeah,
hope
he
or
was in the
something.
trailer. I'm just hoping because they did release a kids version of Spider-Punk
I haven't
for
seen
the
the
new movie.
character.
I'm really hoping we will get a decent either
seen the
Marvel
trailer.
Legends or Mayfax or something Spider-Punk, because the last Marvel Legends one is one of those sculpt items. It's really fucking expensive, and I ain't paying that for fucking Marvel Legends. It's not that good. It's good, but it's not that good. It's not sculptor priced items. So yeah, So yeah, I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
Oh, also I got
Yeah. Right.
Splinter as Van Helsing. Splinter as from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as Van Helsing, which I'm gonna die on this hill. I still believe Shredder should have been Van Helsing because he's the one hunting the monsters. It just makes sense, guys. Come on.
That's cool.
I'm gonna guess yes. So are you saying Splinter is gonna hunt his turtle people?
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I know.
They're his kids.
It does.
That makes no
Wait, so
fucking sense.
Shredder is Dracula?
NECA, you dropped the fucking ball on this.
We don't know yet.
I'm so pissed off about it still.
Yeah.
And I feel like Shredder, it makes sense to be Van Helsing, not just
agree.
because he hunts the monsters, which are the turtles. Because Van Helsing is known for like just being like a human, more or less, right? I know some iteration he's like a half whatever, but he's basically a human using tools and all that. And that's what Shredder is kind of, basically. He's just really good at fighting and all that. So,
Yeah.
and I feel like Splinter would have made a really good werewolf
Sure.
or were-rat.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just NECA, you fucking
Yeah.
dropped the ball.
That's tricky. I'm
still collecting all of them,
Like, I
though,
don't
so
know
it's
how
just-
different it would look.
Doesn't
but I
matter.
don't
They
care.
dropped
I
the ball. They're
think
still
it'd be
getting my
cool.
money. So I guess fuck me, I suppose.
Oh.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Yeah.
So it goes.
Do you want to see my new ones this month? Or are you guys gonna do show and tell? I have 4, but there should be fast. They're
What
long stories.
company
the
is
first, going like most recent in order, I picked up. It's not a new guy, but it's a
McFarlane made-
Jadoon from Doctor Who, like a little newer
I
rhino person.
actually was on
He
Reddit
only
and I
talks-
just found out that McFarlane made One Piece.
McFarlane,
Not One
I
Piece. One Punch Man. Apparently. Yeah.
I could be
Somebody showed off
misremembering.
that McFarlane Saitama. I'm like, what? I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Let's see. I don't want to touch this guy because he's very fragile.
That's really
Let's see if
cool.
this will work. Okay, I got that guy. I showed him to you before. The
Wait, is it from
like
Kubo
a
and the Two
beetle
Strings?
samurai.
It's not
Oh.
right. Right.
So he's kind of cool. It looks like something from Kubo and the Two Strings. And then they're over. It's not literally,
Is that,
but it looks like it could be.
what
As
is
far
that,
as I know,
112
It's not
scale?
associated with any
Or
IP.
275.
There's like a whole line of them, like different types of
Oh, okay,
beetles
yeah,
with different samurai weapons. But they're. It's like 6 inches
Ooh.
tall, whatever that means.
Yeah, that's nice.
And the 2 Star Wars figures I got were Ned B, the yellow robot with the hammer from Obi-Wan. So he's pretty big and beefy, which I like. And then there was an Amazon exclusive I didn't know about that I just got. Apparently Cad Bane shows up in the Bad Batch. And so he has a slightly different costume. So I got the slightly different Cad Bane action figure next to my normal Cad Bane action figure. Is it
And D&D.
my show and tell?
I do not collect toys, so I do not have one.
You're an
to share.
adult who plays video games.
Sort of.
Yeah.
D&D. I make my own characters and then commission art. I commission artwork. Does that count?
Stimulate the economy. Do you 3D print or get 3D printed any of your, like, do you get figures for your characters?
No, because we always play online these days, so there's really nothing to use them for. I don't
makes
even
sense.
collect that much dice. Like, literally the only reason I have
never got that.
dice, the only reason I even really have dice was just because, like, I don't know. I like lost the ones I used to have in college, so I was like, I'm an adult. I can just buy cool looking dice, so I do.
Yeah. I mean,
But
Since
I
you play so
get,
much D&D, do you have
I
one of
get
those like
spending
cool
a lot of money on fancy
like,
dice?
dice towers?
I don't get having like 20 sets of dice.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun.
It's just because
it's like sneakerheads,
shiny.
kind of. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
But does the dice tray have a ramp
don't.
that
We
goes
do-
to
I
another
do-
platform?
I do have a dice tray though. I got it.
That's
no,
so fun.
no, I don't have
I
a dice
have,
tower.
I have a book that opens up into like
yeah.
it has little foam
Like,
inserts for holding my dice.
I don't
and,
think
like,
I will
a little
ever play
tray.
D&D unless I
Yes,
find a really
yes.
good game master and
Like a
comfortable with or
little
whatever.
slot for pens.
But I just want a
and
dice
fingers and
tower.
stuff.
Yes,
What
I
for?
bought one
No
of those
reason.
for my brother
just
several
fun. It's
years
just so
ago
cool,
for
yeah.
Christmas. Yeah.
But I've seen those like
I get
holy
it.
shit, those few $1,000
they're
like
fun.
game tables
Yeah.
with like
Spice
all the
it,
crazy
dice,
compartments. Holy shit, it's so cool.
No rules.
And very
Yeah,
custom made.
no dice tower.
With very nice dead trees made from, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're very, very cool. The problem is, like...
Or
Yes.
if you're a professional dungeon master, I guess.
Yep. Well, the problem is that, like, you know, unless you have a
Yeah.
dedicated in-house group, I mean, most of my games...
Does Hasbro provide
yeah,
a official
exactly.
VTT for
You know,
D&D
most
5?
of your games are spent online on VTTs, virtual
Did I open a
tabletop,
Pandora's
so
box kind of thing by
that's
asking
the
that
reason
question?
I try to stay away from too much stuff. So that was one of the issues. So it's just a little. Long story short, the original like problem stuff was that they were basically only going to allow us one VTT service. It's the one I happen to use, but they were only going to allow that one, and the other was we're going to be kind of shit out of luck. But they erased that problem. But yes, they are for one D&D. They were probably making their own VTT service. They also talked about making an AI DM at one point, which I
That's
went,
interesting.
that sounds like a bad video game.
Isn't there already like D&D Dungeon? People just use it for porn or something like that. Isn't it already like an AI, like a chatbot, basically that like
Probably.
like
but
it's like it's like those old video games. Like you're in a room with these things. Like what do you do? Go
Yeah.
north, go south. I think there's an AI for that already.
Probably, yeah.
Role play.
It's just it was more
I
of a
feel like
rumor that they
it's
were going to
so
do that, and everyone
misrepresented.
went,
It's
"That's
probably
just
real.
Basically, right? It does feel that
Anyway.
way because like some of it is AI, and honestly,
know.
I'm asking now,
It's-
how
Is AI the
how
new
does
crypto?
the industry define AI exactly?
kinda." Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So what is AI and what is actually kind of not really? Because like, from what I understand, ChatGPT is not
Oh yeah.
very. I don't know. It's not like
It's getting
it's not
real-
like whatever Google has in their
Well, it's just like
secret
an
Illuminati
algorithm.
basement. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I don't know. It's just like, so okay. Don't they have one already, like DeepMind or something?
Well, Google's supposed to announce their new like free open AI like next week, like February 8th or something.
So, but that's the thing. So, like,
is that-
I'm
yes,
in
Google's DeepMind,
more or less
yes,
SEO,
but I don't,
right? That's
they're
my job.
announcing something like,
And
next week. Not,
Google
like, something
is
that people can use
trying to
give
reduce
prompts and
AI,
generate
at least
stuff, I guess.
punishing AI content, because people are just generating content for the sake of generating content using AI. Yeah. But then there are also people pushing for it, and I'm just like, they're the same people who's pushing for it, and also like my company is like,
Garbage content.
Right.
Yeah.
we don't want, obviously we don't want our writers to be using AI secretly, you know, but we also kind of want to use AI. So like, which one? So which one is it? Choose one, motherfucker. You can't have both.
Right.
Yeah. I
know.
definitely
Yeah.
need to. Yeah, I mean, knowing when something's AI or not is super important. Like, my stance is definitely, I'm definitely more pro AI than I think the average is. Just simply because I think people who have ideas, the barrier to making those ideas exist should be as low as possible. Like if I have a really cool idea for a painting,
Well,
but I suck at like
you're
mixing
not
paint,
evil.
I can buy paint now.
You're not evil. That's the thing.
So like I think the easier I can create the
You're
art
not
that's
a
inside
capitalistic
of me,
evil
make it
pig.
outside of me, that's great.
So you
But
want to
obviously
make the
there's a
world
whole lot
better
of
with
problems
AI. Nobody's gonna do
associated
that.
with the current tools. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and what, like, I would love if
I mean, the
AI
problem is that
is able to
the
automate
AI
a lot
is
of things so that
learning
people are then
from
able to pursue
Yes.
other
they
things.
just steal
But we
things
all
from
know that ain't gonna
Non-consensual,
happen.
non-consensual.
People are just gonna
Yeah.
lose jobs,
Yeah.
and there's just gonna be a bigger like
here's
pressure on the social So it's just
yeah. Right,
No.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There was another recently discovered problem with some of the AI algorithms where, like, let's say you feed an AI like 30,000 images, and then you ask it to like draw a picture of a woman holding a flower pot. There's like a 0.03% chance that the image it shows you is pretty much exactly one of the images that went into it. which is a problem if you're like feeding it like pictures of real people. That's like a privacy violation now at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, boy oh boy.
I think I asked something about VTT.
What was the story, Char? That started.
Okay.
No, it was my fault. I mentioned that D&D was maybe trying to do AI GMs. Yeah, you asked about VTT. Yeah.
Well, on this topic, there's a news story. You guys probably saw. I think I just saw it today for the first time. It either came out or announced it. Netflix has an
backgrounds
AI
for the
that
enemy or
was
something, right?
At
Coloring
least insignificant part made by an AI because of labor shortages.
Oh, the anime.
And people are saying it's not a short list. You just don't want to pay people what they're worth.
Yeah. Apparently Japan.
So, like I said,
it's really
for
bad
you're not a
with the
capitalistic
AI
evil
art
pig.
and stuff like that. But anyway, yep, that's the thing.
Yeah. So AI.
Exactly.
The thing is, AI is something at the moment really expensive to make, and only the giant evil capitalistic companies have the resources to make them. So I don't see AI being a net positive for humanity at the moment. Until somebody comes up, is open source AI a good idea? A thing
Right.
should be a thing? I don't know.
Right.
Are we even there yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Do we have the technology to do that? The resources, the bandwidth, or whatever? I don't know.
I mean, better everyone have it than no one have it, maybe? I don't know. Or than one person have it, rather.
It's just...
To open source it?
I don't know. This
probably.
AI talk, especially with like ChatGPT.
I took an undergrad AI course.
Sort of directly affecting my work in a way. So I'm just really annoyed with all the talk, honestly. And it will affect people's lives if the companies get what they actually want, which is to pay nobody. Mm-hmm. Which makes no sense. If you pay nobody, who's going to buy your fucking products?
Yeah.
Please explain this to me.
Right. They're always short-sighted about that.
Millennials are killing the AI industry. I have a friend, or a husband of a friend. I don't remember what company he works for, but it was like, I think he quit recently. It was like some big evil AI company, and I don't remember the name. I think this is a thing in the public that you can watch. There is a like TikTok influencer who is an AI. Like, this AI is so powerful. Like, it has like like a warehouse computer of today's computers. So like it can just generate like pretty much photorealistic video on the fly programmatically. Like, so like he said, like this AI would like always give like a little keynote at all of their like company all hands, and she'd like have like product placement because that's like that's what TikTokers do. So she just like have like stuff like built into it. I should ask him specifically what it was called. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was TikTok, but she was an influencer, AI influencer. Next we'll have AI viewers, right? There was a thing in not Terry Pratchett, Douglas Adams. There's like a character in one of the books who's like a robot monk because people built robots to believe in God for them to save them the time and effort of believing in God.
Okay. Is it worse? Okay.
Oh, I have a couple more stories. They're not good stories. I mean, they're not worse. They're not worse. I'll end. They're both kind of boring. Like, so one of them is so the mouse I currently use, I don't even remember what, it's like a Thunderbolt mouse or something like that. I've had it like.
Are you bringing up the Tommy Hilfiger one?
I've had this mouse for several computers, so I don't know what a good gaming mouse goes for. Even when I bought this was not like a good gaming mouse. It was like a cheap gaming mouse. I am bringing up Razer's new mouse. It's a $280 mouse, and it looks like it doesn't have any skin. Like the back of it, the back of it where like your like knuckles to your palm would go is it's like a hex pattern, and you can just there's like a lot of space to have some heft to it. so it's the lightest mouse like they've ever made. It's like 1.73 ounces. I don't know.
Okay. I'm looking.
My mouse
I'm
came
looking
with
at
little
pictures of
weights
it.
that I could like put in slots to configure exactly how much mouse weight I wanted my mouse to
Razer
have.
Viper
So
Mini.
I kind of like a little heavier. But I don't know. Maybe some people like them light. It's called. Does it have a name?
Does it have ways to add weight? You know, like some
Viper Mini?
right?
Yes, the Viper Mini SE with magnesium alloy exoskeleton. It looks cool. The article I read the Ars Technica article on it, and it didn't say that. Or it didn't mention anything, one way or the other, I don't think. It did mention some kind of lack
I
of
would
buttons.
say some people do spend that kind of money
news article
on
because
PC peripherals.
is $280 like normal for a high performance mouse? Because it seems like a lot than I ever thought a mouse would go for. But it's like joysticks go for a ton. Sure.
I mean, a lot of gaming peripheral stuff has always been overpriced. I mean, Alienware. Does anybody remember Alienware?
I remember the company. I didn't know if they
Yeah.
were like... I thought Alienware was like the Axe body spray of computer goods. So like it wasn't it wasn't like expensive cologne, but like people like I'm a bro, I gotta get Alienware.
I mean, they were bought up by Dell eventually, but I mean,
see.
for a while they were like overpriced.
almost
But it
2
was
hours in,
good
and
gaming
this for the
hardware, but it
recording.
was spiked up in price. Yeah, every
Do you wanna
single like
stop
gaming
now, or
peripheral
there's
thing
one
I've
more
ever seen.
pretty big.
Alienware.
I mean, Sarah, it's
Yeah,
your fault for
exactly,
talking
so.
about D&D so much. So no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because this one will be something more like.
I know.
Oh.
Sorry,
you, kinda,
it's
Sarah?
up to you guys. I'm
So
pretty.
it really
I'm
depends if you
getting
just
pretty
wanna stop
tapped out
now,
myself. But whatever you guys
or
want to do,
we can
I'll
just
I'll
talk
try
a little
to.
bit about it. I'm just mostly wondering what you think about it. There's a game coming out in a.
Okay.
What do you think about people wanting to boycott or not boycott Hogwarts Legacy? That's coming out in a week.
Okay, just give it a shot.
No, I don't think so. I think we
Go
just
ahead.
mentioned that it was delayed or something. I think it was delayed. But it's coming out in a week.
Oh.
Did
oh.
we talk about this last
Yes.
month? I felt like we did, but maybe we didn't. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not playing it. For me personally, the main reason at this point, there was a time when I would have been like, so I'm not gonna play it, but I understand those who do. Blah blah blah. The way that J.K. Rowling has been talking now is so bad, like beyond bad, and it's just to the point where I'm just like, don't. If you have any ounce of care for the trans community, don't. I mean,
She
she's
said
literally
that.
come out and said, like, you know, oh, I don't feel bad about, you know, people who tell me I'm wrong because the check clears, you know, and she's even. Yeah. Well, so basically somebody was like, you know, how do you feel when people call you like a TERF and all these things? And she's like, well, you know, I look at my bank account and I don't feel so sad, kind of shit. Yeah, like publicly said that. She's basically said that like she feels that that the support she's had, meaning, you know, people buying her products or supporting her or whatever, shows her that she must be doing something right. She's using the money now to literally fund horrible anti-trans legislation efforts and stuff like that in the UK. So it's like, you know, at this point, no. Just no. You know, all the usual arguments, you know, but support the developers. The developers have come out and basically said, no, just boycott the game. We already got paid anyway. We're not getting more money out of it. You know, there's been some people saying she's not going to get paid from it, but like, I don't see how that isn't possible. She's going to get royalties, so that's a weird thing. I don't know. At this point, I'm just so over Harry Potter stuff, and I feel for anybody who had it was a huge impact on their life, but the way she is now, it's diabolical, some of the shit she's supporting. I don't know if you guys heard too, but she was writing some books under a pseudonym for a while, and one of those books literally was a murder mystery of a cross-dressing man killing someone. Her pen name for those mysteries it's a very unusual name, and I guess it's the guy who invented gay conversion therapy.
Invented, jeez.
Yeah, so like, which is weird because she wasn't homophobic, or at least she wasn't. Dumbledore is gay, right? She was just always transphobic. But I guess she's been, I don't know what happened. My guess is she's just been going down the rabbit hole now, and so now she's homophobic too. So it's gross. She's gotten extremely gross. The only way that at this point I would ever do any Harry Potter support is when she died. Like, literally, that's where I'm at. So I'm sorry, Harry Potter fans, because this game is literally your dream come to life. Like, it's an open world Hogwarts RPG. Literally what people have been asking for decades. Yeah. But
is the main thing like just not giving her money?
So, do what you please. I just again, or pirate it. Yeah, it's whatever.
But then you're still kind of like giving it.
Basically, don't
there's
give her
like
money, and
currency
please
and
don't
also
stream
like
it. Some people are saying that they'll stream it and donate money to trans charities. Don't do that. Just yeah, you're giving it attention. Yeah, attention currency. You know, and like exactly. So like pirate it and play it by yourself. Totally fine. I don't care.
Because I'm not
the moral police, man. Like, if somebody buys it and plays it, I'm not going to sit here and be like, how dare you? And to be completely clear, I normally really wouldn't care that much. Like, when Blizzard had their old shit thing, I really wasn't going around telling people, like, don't play these games. I was just like, well, I mean, I'm not, but you do what you want to do. My wife has a streaming channel, so she's very careful to not play certain games.
And it's not even.
But like, I normally wouldn't be all about this if it were for the fact that J.K. Rowling literally has been saying some of the most like shittiest shit that she could ever shit. It's so bad. Apparently not. It's just. Yeah, it's just gross. So it's got to the point where I'm like, okay, this is a bad person. Like, she's not even hiding it. It's not like the Five Nights at Freddy's creator where people found out he donated to Republican senators and he just like quietly stepped away from the games. Like, this is so much worse.
I think it's less of a trademark and the fact that there's just not much good news
That's
these
how
days.
I feel about it.
Usually, yeah. Or I guess you can argue like, oh, the bad news make for better news, or whatever.
I know. Yeah. World's on fire,
Let's do the
folks. No. Any news is good news. Yeah, we doing the thing.
Apparently, they're gonna charge for API access.
This is Sarahscopic, Sarahscopic.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am on Twitter. It has not died fully yet, but it is smoking. It's pretty funny to watch. Yeah, they are. It's like the lowest tier is like $100. Yeah. Oh, it's bad. It's real bad. Anyway, so yeah, it's a dumpster fire, but I still enjoy talking to people on there. I am on RNG&T. We haven't really done a whole lot of stuff, unfortunately. You can also catch me on many of the D&D shows if you follow my wife, Escalia, Eskalia. I am on 2 games a week through her on Mondays and on Wednesdays, so you can come say hi and tell me how my acting is.
And I'm Foehamner. I'm on YouTube. We took like a break for December and January, but this group I was working with to do some sketch comedy just started meeting again, so hopefully we'll have something in like 3 months. We'll see. It's a long process, but
on Instagram
we'll definitely know
if
anything actually manifests.
Pictures of the toys. That's pretty much it. I want to just shut off from the world. Honestly, at this point in time, all I want is to have enough food and not to die homeless. That's pretty much it. You know how low of a bar that is? Like, what the fuck?
I don't blame you.
Holy shit, I have... Yeah. I have, like... I'm definitely very fortunate and all that shit, but, like, I feel like just a small little thing that doesn't go my way and I'm fucked.
Yeah. You know how hard it is to reach that bar?
That's how we love to end this podcast. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We will see you next time, I guess. Bye.
Bye.